Glow Fiber is now in Ohio. And with gig speed fiber internet, we're keeping things real. As in real reliable speeds. Real people who really want to talk to you. Not to mention, real simple pricing. Switch to Glow Fiber today to get real fast, real reliable fiber internet and your first month free. Glow Fiber is here. Welcome to Glow Ohio. Call 1-833-WANT-GLOW or visit glowfiber.com to switch today.
Kimberly. Tons of practice. One chop away from a black belt. 7 of the best sidekicks. And 5 years since her cancer diagnosis at Ohio Health.
Swinging a liner to left field. Pates will walk it off. That one base is loaded in 2. Pitch. It is low, and this one dripped the pitch. Skied into center field, hit pretty well. Major back to the track, to the wall. It is gone.
At Chillicothe Comfort Heating and Air, your comfort is our priority year-round.
Whether it's blazing hot or freezing cold, we've got your back with fast, reliable service you can trust.
Locally owned, honest, and done right the first time.
We have financing options available for every budget, as well as 60 months, 0% interest.
Call us today and feel the difference that comfort makes.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to tonight's presentation of high school baseball here on Southern Ohio Sports Authority, presented by Ohio Health. Shane Combs alongside Kenneth Hay here at the VA Memorial Stadium in Chillicothe, and what was an absolute beautiful afternoon, kind of starting to turn chilly as we prepare for the nightcap, getting on a little later here this evening due to the outstanding first game here, the 5 o'clock game between South Gallia and Eastern. It was a back-and-forth affair that watched Eastern win it in extra innings. South Gallia a chance to win it there in the regulation. Eastern responded to get it into extra innings and then scores late to win it. So nonetheless, nowhere you'd rather be than sitting here at the beautiful VA Memorial Stadium, preparing for what we think is going to be a really good nightcap as Lynchburg-Clay comes in with the undefeated mark at 6-0 and ready to do battle with Amanda-Clearcreek. And Kenneth, I welcome you. And it's been a minute. You know what I mean? We had that break. Carson and I were talking about the other night. Enjoyed the tournament basketball with you and some time away. And I know you're getting excited to finish up some school and so forth. I know I'm in the same boat. But as we turn the page to spring, always good to get out to the VA and get a little spring sports going.
Yeah, finally a chance to get out here and just cover one of these excellent games we've had out here. I know you already saw Lynchburg this week against Reedsville Eastern and just – kind of showed what kind of team they are in that game, just a dominant performance.
Yeah, no question about it. Wasted no time, jumped right out in the first inning, scored 9 times against a really good Eastern ball club, and never looked back, went on to win that 13-2. They've been able to add let's say another win against West Union in the conference. So their mark runs to 6-0 overall, 3-0 inside the shack, and Coach Flowers has them playing well. And you welcome in this Amanda team tonight that comes from a little bit bigger conference, the really good mid-state baseball up there. So they're going to be battle-tested. Should make for a pretty good one this evening.
Yeah, I saw Amanda out here on Saturday against Athens, and just what a game where they showed off that they can put up runs. I believe you had the score for that game in your notes, and just 12-9.
Yeah.
They just were hitting it over the heads of Athens, and it just shows the power that this lineup has for the Clear Creek Aces.
Yeah, I think that's a comparison I would throw out there with these two ball clubs is the overall athleticism that they'll bring. And in this ballpark, it certainly can be a factor. A lot of ground to cover out there in the outfield, and that can play a role offensively. But I was also impressed with Amanda defensively in the outfield. Their ability to go get it, that could be a factor here tonight, especially the way this Lynchburg team can swing it.
Yeah, we talked about it watching the previous game, just with how big the field is here. Every single defensive error is just magnified. Like, you could see a throw over advance a runner from first to third. Just the absolute size of the field compared to the average high school field just makes it a little different.
Yeah, no question about it. And the other thing, if you're, most people follow high school baseball know this. Maybe if you don't as closely, what makes baseball so unique? John Bruce and I were talking about this on SOSA Overtime, which again you can hear and watch weekly on this same SOSA channel. Appreciate Perfection One for all the support there. John and I were on our opening spring show, and we were talking about how unique baseball is from the pitching aspect. Night in, night out. You take a week like this where you get pretty good weather. A lot of people have 4 or 5 different games on the schedule, and that can really test your pitching. I thought that ended up showing up in that first game with some pitch count and so forth. So now as you start to get deeper into the week, I know Amanda is back in league play Friday night with Hamilton Township. Lynchburg-Clay, I believe, returns tomorrow night with North Adams. So you start to get a little deeper into your pitching staff, maybe a little bit more offense, maybe need your hitting to pick it up a little bit.
Well, Lynchburg plays for 3 games straight. They play tonight, tomorrow versus North Adams, then back on Friday versus Versailles, and it's just going to test, as you said, that pitching lineup. And as you know, you can check the Shack Athletics website to catch up on all that, and you'll just see the depth that they have.
Yeah, no question about it, going up and down the lineup. We'll get to here in just a second. It looks like they might give a night off to a guy here or there, which, again, can be a factor, especially as you get into the pitching and catching aspect of it all. But, yeah, up and down the lineup, no question about it. So, you got Amanda taking the infield here right now. Lynchburg will follow. Maybe a good time to go ahead and take a look at tonight's starting lineups. Your visitors on the scoreboard will be the Mustangs from Lynchburg-Clay, and here's how Coach James Flowers will roll them out there. Leading off for the Mustangs, playing second base, will be number 20, Harley Lewis. In the 2-hole will be Quinn Wells, wearing 24 and playing shortstop. Number 33, Christian Beachy, is the third baseman. Cleaning up for the Mustangs, Max Baker, number 4, not DH spot, playing for the right fielder, number 15, Alex Van Vliet. In the 5-hole, Tanner Roberts will do the pitching, and who more? Number 14, number 21, Trevor Niehaus as the center fielder. And then the bottom third of the Mustangs order will be Aiden Benee, whereas number 7 plays left field. Number 44, Caden Boone, the first baseman, and batting ninth, the catcher, number 3, Eric Slacks. One more time for Coach Flowers. Lewis, Wells, and Beachy, the top third. The middle third will be Baker, Roberts, and Niehaus, with the bottom third, Benee, Boone, and Slack. And Kenneth, when you take a look at that lineup, I know you had some of the stats out there. I know you mentioned to me the depth jumped out at you up and down the lineup. This Mustang group can really come at you, put some pressure on you.
Yeah, for a team that just went to the Final Four last year again and lost 4-1 to Graham Local in the semifinal, with a team that was very senior heavy, you expect normally sort of a rough start the next year trying to get guys in that haven't played a lot, but this unit has been so well so far offensively, with Coach Flowers, the Shack Coach of the Year last year, and out of that lineup, the only all-conference honor, last season was Quinn Wells, and his numbers have jumped off the page so far this year, batting .737 so far.
You almost can't say it without laughing.
That's just an insane mark, and all throughout the lineup, you got even your 9 holes hitting .438. It's just an offensively talented group for the Lynchburg-Clay Mustangs.
Yeah, a couple notes. To my understanding, Elam Faust, there's no injury there. Just I know he does a lot of the catching. I know they're playing about 5 times this week. Going to start at least with the night off. The other night we had him out here hitting in the leadoff spot. He was on base 5 times. He had his fingerprints all over that 9-run first inning. He had 2 doubles in that first inning and got him out going fast. But again, he's going to enjoy the night off here. Let's go over to the home team there. Coach Travis Stone and his aces of Amanda-Clearcreek. Leading off for the aces, the shortstop, number 23, Nick Holland. Batting second will be Brees Stone, number 44, the catcher. 3-hole will be Andrew Miller. He'll wear number 3 and play third base. Cleaning up for the Aces, wearing 0, Gary Kimmerling, the center fielder. The 5-hole, Colin Thomas, number 31, will play first base. The 6-hole, Noah Chambers, number 33, and he'll do the pitching. Bottom third for the Aces starts with number 13, Cole Schiff, the second baseman. Number 27, Jack Thompson's the DH. And batting ninth, Evan Kern, number 24, the left fielder. And as we go up and down, we recognize some of those particular names from different sports that we've covered throughout. And I guess athleticism is something that jumps out at me at different parts of the order, and it makes sense when we watch this team score 12 runs earlier in the First Pitch Classic. You certainly can see where they can put some pressure on the defense.
Yeah, I'm really interested in this unit, especially this matchup. As you mentioned before the game, we know that the Mustangs can play with the best, but it's always interesting to see these smaller league schools go against the bigger league schools like an MSL versus a Shack matchup.
Well, certainly can play a factor. If you're not familiar with the Shack, we went over this the other night, maybe for some of our Amanda listeners. If you're not familiar with the Southern Hills Athletic Conference, they've done some unique things in a time of enrollment and expansion. I think they've been thinking outside the box a little bit. I'm a little bit impressed with what they do. It's my understanding that they have 10 teams in the conference. They divided up 5 and 5, the biggest schools and the smallest schools. Well, in your own half, you play all those schools 2 times. That makes up 8 games. Then you play the other 5 one time, and they count. So you have 13 games, but you stay inside your division. And then it was my understanding, I said this the other night, and I had someone from the Southern Hills Athletic Conference say it was correct. They based on the count every couple of years, they'll take a look at that, and people can move up and down, but they try to keep it as the top 5 enrollment, the bottom 5 enrollment. So I just think in a time where enrollment's changing a bunch, that's kind of a unique thing. What's your thought on that conference format?
I mean, I think we saw it this year in basketball have some implications of teams that I think going in, not looking at it, we thought were in the same half then weren't. And I think it is a good thing for a league to do just for a little bit of, I don't want to say competitive balance, but you know what I mean by just the enrollment. And it kind of gives teams a shot at both the top and bottom half to compete.
Well, and when you go over to the Aces and you think of the Mid-State, the Buckeye, you know, that's some good baseball. That's some bigger schools. And Amanda, not just the league you're in, but also in terms of how your tournament format. And excited to see the Aces join the Southeast District here in the upcoming years. And I think that could be something that jumpstarts them. You know, they've always felt kind of a part of our area. I know at SOSA we're excited to grab onto them a little bit more. Not just baseball here tonight, but all the sports. Give me a thought on that with Amanda becoming a little bit more of a player here in the Southeast District.
Well, I mean, as you know, Amanda normally historically a great football team, so that's something I'm going to keep my eye on next year as they join the Southeast District in football. But just overall, even though they might be highlighted as a football team, when you get a lot of those athletes, that you can just see them pop up in other sports, as you mentioned today in baseball, and just sometimes that athleticism can just carry over and be a game changer.
Yeah, getting closer and closer to first pitch is Lynchburg-Clay going through their infield there. The pitching matchup tonight, as we mentioned when we went through the starting lineup, over on the Amanda side, it'll be Noah Chambers, and his counterpart over for the Mustangs will be Tanner Roberts. Roberts comes in. It'll be his second time on the mound this year. He had 5 innings pitched earlier in the year's ERA just a little bit over 1. And that's been what's so impressive for Lynchburg, too, is they've been able to spread the pitching out a little bit. I know the other night Quinn Wells went 5+, got the win. Obviously, it helps when your offense spots you 9 in the top half of the first inning. I thought he threw the ball well. And then Beachy comes in, so I'm excited to see Roberts here tonight, because to do what Lynchburg's wanting to do, Kenneth, it's certainly going to be important for them to get that third and fourth arm involved.
Yeah, and it just tests your depth for a team that wants to go and return and even go farther than they did last year. You need that solid third, fourth, and even just guys off the bench that can come in relief, and just having a chance to just test another arm just helps out so much.
And in the last depth piece, I would say here in my pregame notes is, I watched Harley Lewis bat 9th the other night. He moves up into the leadoff spot. I know Eric Slack, he's in the 9-hole tonight hitting .438. He's someone that can really spark with Elon Faust out of the lineup. That's something that Coach Flowers has got to be excited about, too, moving Lewis up to the top it's going to give him a few more bats maybe than he usually gets in that 9 hole. But all of that stuff's going to play a factor because, again, the really good teams as you get into the tournament, you can't just depend on that top third or top half to do the job. You've really got to be able to go 1 through 9, and they can certainly do that.
Yeah, and this early in the season, we're about a week and a half into the boys season. You'll see these lineups change almost every night, and just even based on matchup, and especially in a non-con game where you can just give a look to a guy and it really doesn't affect your conference record or the conference you're competing in. And sometimes it's helpful, and we see all the time, especially in our tip-off our first pitch classic we had out here last week, you just see guys take that chance even in the 8 or 9 hole and go 3 for 3, go 4 for 4, and just move themselves up in the lineup.
Yeah, no question about it. If you're new to SOSA, welcome. We're excited to have some of our new followers. You feel free to go back, check out our coverage all the way through the fall, and with our football and our volleyball, outstanding coverage, boys, girls basketball through the winter. As I said earlier, the SOSA Overtime brought to you Perfection 1. John Bruce and I have that all the way throughout the year, and then each weekend on Sunday nights, usually the night they'll have the coaches call-in, the Haynes Total Health Care coaches call-in show. They did that through football and basketball, now bringing that in. In fact, Coach Flowers was on the first week. Now, keep in mind, they ended up taking Easter off. They'll return this weekend for week 2. But Coach Flowers was a guest on the very first show going back a little bit, so he had a chance to go on there and talk about, give me a comment on that, Kenneth, in terms of now that you've been with SOSA for a little while, just in terms of how you would describe it to someone in terms of just what they end up offering and doing for our local athletes.
Could you repeat the question?
Yeah, just on the turn, you've been with SOSA for so long, just your thoughts on what they offer our local programs and kids and what that means to everybody.
Well, I mean, in my opinion, just going from being an athlete around the time where SOSA starts streaming, starts blooming, into being someone working for them, and it's just the highlight you see in both. I know myself, I was excited if we had a stream at our game. Just being able to have that spotlight on you, it just feels a little more special, I'd say, whether it be you see yourself in an article or you get yourself pictures, or even you can go back on the stream and just clip your own highlight. And even things like the coaches show, I always thought it was interesting just to follow other coaches in our league, and just it helps be more personable with all these guys as well.
Yeah, no question. Well, as Lynchburg comes off, we're getting closer and closer to tonight's first pitch. We'll step aside for a quick timeout. I know it's going to be a late start, but settle in and watch some late-night baseball with this Shane Combs, Kenneth Hay. You're watching high school baseball on Southern Ohio Sports Authority, presented by Ohio Health.
Are you looking for the best deals on quality used trucks and cars?
Great news. Chillicothe Truck has what you're looking for.
Choose from a wide selection of makes and models. All vehicles undergo a detailed multi-point inspection and extensive reconditioning before hitting the lot. Our friendly team offers a no-pressure sales experience, ensuring you find the perfect vehicle to fit your needs. Plus, you can customize your ride with our extensive range of truck accessories, from bed covers to lift kits. Stop by 173 Rennick Avenue in Chillicothe or call us today at 740-773-8782 to get started right now.
Our employees certainly get the credit for that growth. The relationships that they build. People want to deal with people they can trust, they know, feel connected to. And I think that's where a community bank such as Kingston really shines. The color of money is the same no matter where you go, but I think the people behind it is what makes the difference. Having the empathy to understand what's going on in someone's business or personal lives and how you might be able to help it. I think our customers expect that, want that, and truthfully, they deserve that.
Welcome back here at VA Memorial Stadium. Shane Combs alongside Kenneth Hay here as you're watching high school baseball on Southern Ohio Sports Authority, presented by Ohio Health. They're at home plate, getting the lineup cards exchanged. And again, if you weren't with us earlier, wondering why we're coming on so late tonight for what we thought was going to be about a 7:30 start, we had South Gallia and Eastern needing extra innings to decide a winner earlier, as Eastern comes from behind late in the regulation, I believe 3 in the 7th, to tie it at 5, and then they break it open and extra innings go on to win that one. So congratulations to Eastern there, and as a result, got us going a little bit late here tonight, but no problem with the beautiful facility and the lights. Going to be in for a nice night of baseball, although I will say certainly is cooled off quite a bit. That'll be something to pay attention to as the pitchers get settled in tonight. Game time temp, I think, is probably going to drop. Let's see here. I've got it you're dropping probably into the 50s or so. So it's going to get a little cool, and that'll be something to keep an eye on early defensively.
Yeah, and I'll say for anyone who looks back at that score of our previous game, and I think it will understate how close that game was and how good of a job South Gallia did in that game just playing smart. It wasn't just their bats on fire. They were just playing smart, whether it be the bunts or stealing bases, just smart offense.
Yeah, that's well said. I mean, you felt like they were a little bit dominated earlier in the game, but they utilized good discipline at the plate. They would draw some walks, some hit by pitch, some bunts, got the ball in play, and then all of a sudden you look up and they're up 4-1, eventually 5-2, and then Eastern comes with a no-quit attitude there in the 7th inning. Credit to them, and able to get even and then go on to win it in extra innings. So,
well, a guy we've seen in multiple sports, Eric Manley, came out in that last inning and just opened it up with a triple, and that's no other way you'd really want to start an inning besides maybe a home run, but that's just a momentum setter, and that kind of opened the game for Eastern.
Yeah, should be in the final minutes here of the meeting there at home plate with the Cards. These guys, especially playing here within the last week, should be a whole lot of confusion on the ground rules, so should be about ready to get going. Appreciate John Bruce next door here, doubling up his duty. Obviously, the PA voice here at VA Memorial Stadium, going to do a little camera work for us, and glad to be with Kenneth here, going to bring a good baseball game here tonight on two teams that I think their best baseball's ahead of them. As I watched this Amanda team earlier, I think they've got a lot of pieces that they're going to continue to build with, and then obviously this Lynchburg-Clay team's locked and loaded for what could be another pretty deep tournament run.
As the meeting breaks up and we're about to be underway in this matchup here on a Wednesday evening, 8:30, close to first pitch, coming up soon.
Home team, the Amanda Aces, in their white with the black pinstripe, going to break the huddle and take the field. And Lynchburg-Clay will run it out just a little bit differently at the top of the order, as I said, than they did the other night, with Elon Faust getting the night off. Harley Lewis will jump up into that leadoff spot, followed by Quinn Wells, Christian Beachy. And if the Mustangs do anything close to what they did 48 hours ago, they hope a lot more, because, as I said, they broke out for 9 in the opening inning against Eastern the other night. Never look back.
Yeah, both these teams just the bat's what you got to look for on these. And Lynchburg's an all well-rounded team, but, man, seeing some of these batting averages and some of the totals, just scary lineup.
Amanda battery there. Noah Chambers will throw to Brees Stone this evening. Noah Chambers, a righty there with some good length to him, and nice repeatable delivery. He'll use a little bit of a leg kick there to kind of disrupt the timing of the hitters. That'll be something to watch the first time through the order. Harley Lewis comes in, batting just shy of 400. 5 stolen bases on the year, but keep in mind the times I've seen him, he's done a little bit out of the bottom of the order, so obviously at the top of the order going to get probably an extra opportunity to hit than he normally would, hitting down there in the bottom third. A lot of times if you're hitting in that 9-hole, Ken, if you maybe not quite as aggressive, because obviously as you turn the lineup over, you have some of those top hitters hitting at the top. You want to let them swing away. You don't want to run yourself out of an inning.
Yeah, you kind of just want to get on base, not get out. So give your, I don't want to say your best players, but you know what I'm saying, your top order guys a chance to get on base and maybe hit some in when you get to that 3-4 hole. We've seen recently the rise of the 2-hole and even the leadoff in baseball.
All right, so John Bruce announces Harley Lewis into the box, and I think we're finally ready to get this one underway. First pitch at around 57 degrees, going to come at you around 8:27, so a little later than expected, but nonetheless looking forward to some good baseball. Chambers misses up on that first delivery as Lewis is out in front of the count. 1-0 delivery, good aggressive swing. Couldn't tell me. I think he got a piece of that and fouled it back, and evens the count 1-1. Chambers working with Pretty good pace. Takes something off there and misses down 2-1, and good patience from Lewis there to try to find any way he can to get his speed on base for the hot-hitting Quinn Wells on deck. Two-one pitch. Tried to catch the outside corner, just missed. Now falls behind 3-1. And Kenneth certainly don't want to open the game with a walk and put the speed of Lewis over there at first base. And he does just that, missing over glove side on that outside corner. So 5-pitch walk as Harley Lewis does the job for Coach Flowers. Sets the table here for Quinn Wells. You were giving some numbers earlier, 737.
Yeah, as you were mentioning, this is not a team you want to put on base early, dropping 9 runs in the first the other evening on our stream.
This is the way that one's actually going to get all the way from the catcher, so Lewis going to move up to second base. And, it's one thing, a lot of times you don't want to panic when a guy gets off to a cold start or a hot start, but high school baseball is a little different than I think we're going to have an early mound visit here. But, high school baseball is a little different, Kenneth, from the standpoint of Major League Baseball. You play 162 of these things. You want to give time for the back of the baseball card to play out. At the high school level, what I've always found, you got about 4.5, 5 weeks of regular season. You don't have time to struggle for 7 to 10 days. You know what I'm saying? Now, at the same time, though, you go through a hot streak like Mr. Wells is doing here, and you can post some video game type of numbers. And, here they are into the 7th game now. Has a home run, 14 RBIs. He's got 14 stolen bases, hitting 737. That's quite a year.
Road to the show type numbers, as you said, video game statistics, but see what he can do here for the Mustangs.
Yeah, he's got an early RBI spot with the wild pitch, going to move Lewis up to second base. Mound visit early just to try to get him squared away. Had a good pitch to hit there, fouled it back. I kind of like the early mound visit, if I'm being honest, because, you don't have time. If you scouted Lynchburg at all, you know how explosive they are, so you want to get it under control right away. It doesn't do you any good to wait to be down 2-3-0.
As we were talking about the previous game, it's 90% just mentality. So he takes the second. Just if you aren't confident in your pitch, you're going to miss more often than not.
That's a good point. You got to really commit and trust your stuff. Chambers has kind of a unique 3-quarter delivery. Comes in on him there on the 1-2. About hit him on the shoulder, but my guess is that'll be a setup pitch because it seems like he's been trying to work to that outside corner. Let's see if they go back something soft and away. Looked like he did take something off there, left it out, maybe caught a little bit more of the plate than he wanted to. Good job of Wells staying alive. Lewis leads from second, 2-2 on the batter, Quinn Wells. Chambers comes set, and they catch him looking. That's a big out there against a really good hitter. So give Chambers a lot of credit there. Early situation against a good hitter. Made a good pitch there, got the call. That'll bring Christian Beachy to the plate. Been a good run producer with 12 RBI here in the early going this year, and he hammers that ball to center. And falls just in front of Kimberling. Lewis had to hold up just to see if it was going to get caught. I think it caught Kimberling playing a little deeper, and that ball on the line comes down in front of him, and it's going to be first and third. So the one-out batter be Max Baker. First and third situation. Let's see if Lynchburg starts the runner here. Hard ground ball, just wide at third base there. Chambers works ahead. A lot of options here for Coach Flowers. Start the runner and see how Amanda handles it here in the early going. Chambers steps off. Now a reset. Not a huge lead for Beachy over there at first. The inside, I think he got him. Yeah, so the hit by pitch, that's going to load the bases. So all of a sudden now 1 out, bases loaded, and if you're Lynchburg-Clay, you're looking to pounce here early, similar to the way that you did the other night. Tanner Roberts chances to help himself, as they say, with him being on the mound himself tonight.
Give himself some run support.
No doubt. Off speed misses low and away. Nowhere to put him here. Chambers has to get aggressive in the zone. Amanda certainly could use a ground ball right out of middle infielder. 1-0 pitch. That ball's popped straight up and behind home plate. Let's see if Stone has enough room. He did, but he kind of overruns it. Again, tough play here. So much foul ground, Kenneth, here at the VA Memorial Stadium, back toward the backstop.
Yeah, it's just an unfamiliar territory to have just the extra space that's provided here at the VA Stadium.
Yeah, you got to trust it that ball's going to come back to you. You know, the other night, like I said, we were here on Monday night, wind blowing pretty hard, blowing out. Tonight, the flag looks pretty still. So even though the temperature dropping into the mid-50s, we don't quite have the wind that we had the other night. 1-1 pitch. Gets a piece and fouls it over just off the Amanda dugout. So opportunity here maybe for Noah Chambers to go for the strikeout, much needed strikeout in a 1-out situation. If you're Roberts, you're trying to shorten up and get it in play. Pitch on the outside corner, well done. Nice frame job there from Bree Stone. Good pitch from Noah Chambers. And that's his second caught looking here in the opening frame. And now if Lynchburg-Clay is going to get out in front, it's going to have to be due to the ability of Trevor Niehaus, the center fielder.
Batting .222 on the season through 6 games so far is Niehaus.
Swinging first pitch and swings through it. Could be a big pick-me-up for the Aces if they're able to get out of this one, if you're Lynchburg still trying to deliver a big 2-out hit. Another swing and a miss. Been impressed with Chambers' ability to mix speeds. Now way ahead. Let's see if he tries to expand the zone. And he gets him. Outstanding job, Noah Chambers. Three left on base for the Mustangs here in the opening inning. Stay with us. You're watching high school baseball on SOSA, presented by Ohio Health.
Mark. 6 months of training. 8 miles to go. A 3-way tie for almost last place.
You look good in these shorts, right?
And 3 years since he and his team at Ohio Health left cancer in the dust.
Welcome back, VA Memorial Stadium. Shane Combs, Kenneth Hay, so glad you're with us here on SOSA, presented by Ohio Health. Appreciate all of our sponsors that make this possible, obviously through the football, volleyball, basketball scene, but man, it's just awesome to be in the spring and getting a chance to cover spring sports and doing so out here at the VA. And, you know, Kenneth, I thought that was a big pick-me-up from Noah Chambers and the Aces. We know how explosive Lynchburg-Clay is. They load the bases with 1 out. It's a big-time job by Chambers to step up there.
Yeah, as you said, got 3 on, and that situation, it's pretty scary for the pitcher, but just had that composure. And as you said, that early mound meeting really helped just keep the pressure down and let him stay focused and just provide those outs. And those last few pitches were pretty nasty for him as well.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that because, again, I think that was a big coaching move, just going out there to calm the right-hander down. We talked about the game. It's just a weird – if you ever have the late game at the VA, it's really weird. You think you're playing at 7:30, then you play like at 8:30. You know what I mean? And you're the starting pitcher, and when do I start my routine? When do I do this? And then the one game looks like it's 5-2 and it's going to be over on time. Well, then the team ties it at 5-5. And, there's just a lot that goes into it. And I thought Coach Stone did a good job, and credit Chambers for the composure to get the job done.
So now on the defensive side, we'll see Tanner Roberts on the mound. As you said, 1.4 ERA in his 5 innings pitched so far this season.
Yeah, and if you weren't with us in the opening, we went over the lineups. The Aces will roll them out at the top third with Holland, Stone, and Miller, followed by Kimmerling, Thomas, and Chambers, with the bottom third being Schiff, Thompson, and Kern. Eric Slack will be behind the plate for the Mustangs tonight, with Elon Faust getting the night off. So Nick Holland will step in, the Amanda shortstop. Had a chance to watch him play some other sports throughout the year. Good athlete. First pitch swinging, lifts a fly ball down the right field line. Long way to go for Van Fleet. Not going to get there. That ball falls in fair, and Holland double out of the box, hustling all the way. Good start for the Aces.
Yeah, it's a gutsy swing. First pitch of the at-bat. Swings it, finds an opening, and puts a runner in scoring position already. One pitch into the bottom of the first.
Yeah, we talked about how much space is in this ballpark. Not a lot of Van Fleet could do. Ball just perfectly placed. So early opportunity for Reese Stone, drive a run in, or at least try to get his buddy Holland over to third. Aggressive swing. So Holland and then Stone both attacking that first pitch. Stone swings through it. Like Roberts stepped off there. Now going to reset and get the sign from Slack. Just off the outside corner there. Fouled over the top of the Amanda dugout. Way ahead now at 0-2. Like Roberts kind of dropped down again. He's got a unique side little release point as well that might take Amanda a time through the order to pick up. Great job there by Slack to go out and get a glove on that. Keeps Holland at second base. You don't want him to move up there on a wild pitch. So outstanding job by the Lynchburg catcher. Now the 1-2 just misses, gets away from Slack a little bit. Not far enough for Holland to advance. So after being down 0-2 in the count, Bree Stone fights back even at 2-2. Ground ball to shortstop, goes under the glove there of Quinn Wells. The ball in front had Holland stay, so we're going to have E6. Holland unable to move up, but nonetheless get the extra base runner. So now the first two Aces on board. And now we're going to see, just as we watched in the top half, we're going to see Coach Flowers make a trip to the mound here early on as well. And this might just be a little bit more of hey, guys, let's focus in, not let the empty offensive chance in the first inning carry over to our defense.
Going back to what we've seen so far this inning offensively, in your opinion, with your very much outgrowing of my baseball knowledge, just what do you think of your opinion on the first pitch? Just taking it, watching it go by, swinging. What is your take on that?
Yeah, it's different for everybody. I think you've got to have a good feel for the pitcher in terms of what you're wanting to attack. Some of your better hitters, you always talked about sitting one pitch, one spot, and if it's there, attack it a little bit. There's certain matchups you certainly want to work the count. You want to work the pitch count, especially in the day of the pitch count. So it's hard to say. I think a lot of it has to do with philosophy, and you probably, if I'm being honest, you probably treat some of the top half of your order a little bit differently than you do the bottom half. Andrew Miller now gets a chance to come to the plate with 2 on, nobody out. Great opportunity for Amanda here now to play out in front. Lynchburg had an opportunity, left them loaded in the top half. Good pitch, just missed off the plate inside 2-0. So now this comes in one of those situations here early on. 3-hole, I assume he's sitting dead red here, 2-0. Let's see if Roberts can make a pitch. Misses up a little bit. Now it's 3-0. Green lighting him here, Kenna?
I would, especially with a runner in scoring position. Holland sitting on second.
Just
He'll
missed.
load the bases.
Sometimes you can tell by the hitter's hands, it looked like he was probably taking all the way there. So the 4-pitch walk, just as Lynchburg did, I guess they did it with 1 out in the top half. Now Amanda loads the bases with nobody out. And they're right in the heart of their order here. Gary Kimmerling, the center fielder. Kimmerling, the athletic center fielder, can really go get it defensively. He's swinging first pitch. Swings through it, strike 1.
All but one batter have swung at the first pitch so far in the bottom of this first inning.
Looks like Lynchburg has the corners in. Maybe try to turn it in the middle. That pitch just misses. 1-1. So this early in the game, my guess is it looks like Lynchburg's going to try to twist it in the middle, hit to the corners. They're probably going to come home. That ball missed just up. Two on the count, nowhere to put him. Ace's cleanup hitter, RBI spot here early on. Good pitch, good swing. See the umpire run the ball out. A lot of times you'll see that when the catcher takes a pop like that. Just a good relationship between catcher and umpire. I think they appreciate just the wear and tear they go through back there. So sometimes you'll see a catcher take a ball out if the umpire takes a shot. That time you see the umpire give the catcher, Eric Slack, an extra second. Good pitch, had him out in front, lifts a fly ball out over top of third base. And Beachy goes back behind the bag and makes the catch. That's a big, big out here. So far, so good if you're Lynchburg in terms of trying to limit the damage. They get the first out of the inning.
First baseman Colin Thomas now at the bat with 1 out, bases loaded for the Aces.
Now, if you're Lynchburg, you certainly like that ground ball to try to twist it and get out of it with no damage at all. First pitch strike, and again, real impressed with Roberts. If he gets comfortable in that arm slot, I could see where he's effective there. Nice sized kid, comes from that 3/4 arm slot. Takes something off there and misses down and away. Good job by Slack again. Catcher has to be perfect here in these situations. You don't want to give an easy run away on a pass ball wild pitch. This is well off the plate, so Roberts again behind in the count. 2-1. Good speed down there at third base with Holland, the lead runner. Stone out at second, Miller at third, leading from first. Just missed, and now 3-1, and puts the pressure on the pitcher here for sure early in the game. 5-0 in that +2 box, chance to get really selective. (3-1) delivery, catches the corner. Runs the count full. Again, just the 1 out spot, so the runners will hold true. Big pitch here early in this ball game. 3-2 pitch fouled back. We'll do it again. Nice job, Colin Thomas, just protecting there. And anything close if you're Thomas, just trying to get it in play.
Staying alive in the at-bat.
Every pitch you can make Roberts, though, here early, the pitch count starts to rise. And these are the pressure pitches. Again, fouled away, and it's turning into a long, good battle here between Thomas and Roberts.
Especially for a team playing 3 games in 3 days, you got to watch that pitch count early on here.
Well, and you got more games to come in the next couple nights. You're exactly right. Takes something off, outstanding there. Just freezes the hitter, and it falls right in for the strike. So the backwards K. So just as Chambers and the Aces, bases loaded, 1 out. They got out of it. Now Tanner Roberts trying to do the same. This was bases loaded, nobody out. And speaking of Noah Chambers, he's now the batter. Ball misses up. Chambers, obviously the right-hand pitcher, batting from the left side. Fly ball back over top of third. 3 Mustangs giving chase as Beachy went back. Wells coming from short, Benet coming in from left, and it's going to go all the way over near the picnic area here at the VA Memorial Stadium, and that'll just be a long strike, even to count 1-1.
How often do you see a right-handed pitcher batting left-handed?
Well, I mean, again, it's a unique situation here, hitting from the left side. I don't know that I'd love my pitcher's arm exposed out there in front, but nonetheless, you always like to have a good athletic lefty somewhere in your lineup. I think it just adds some diversity to your lineup. That ball catches the inside corner. Now Roberts working ahead. 1-2 count. A strike away from getting out of this. Hard ground ball back up the middle. Fielded there momentarily by Lewis. I think he was trying to go to the bag, and he lost the handle of. That'll be a tough scoring decision because, again, Stone with 2 outs moving there with the bases loaded had kind of a bigger secondary lead than normal, and that'll be. I think they're gonna give it an error, so we'll go E4, and that's going to score the run. The inning will continue for the second baseman Cole Schiff.
As we said last inning, just giving himself his own run support.
The ball misses up. They appealed down to first base, said Schiff did not go. Kenneth, did you feel like he was trying to sprint to the bag, or you think he was trying to get out of the glove to flip the Wells there?
I mean, it looked like he was going for the bag, but the spacing there just off as he lines this one down the third base line. 1 is in, and 2 will be in for the Aces.
Outstanding hustle there. So Cole Schiff with the line drive, 2-run single. Now the Aces up 3-0 and still batting here, first and third. So we talk about making the errors hurt. You give good teams the extra outs, they make you pay, and Amanda certainly has been able to do that here in the early going. Jack Thompson will settle in out of the 8-hole to be the 2-out batter. Line drive right up over top of second. That's going to get another run in. Schiff's going to turn hard at second, never stop. Throw to the cut there. Good base running for Thompson as he sees it cut, and he'll hold it first base. So Jack Thompson, line drive, RBI single. Now 4-0 as the Aces have batted all the way around. So it was Lynchburg-Clay back on Monday night scoring 9 times in the first inning. Tonight, Amanda trying a little bit of their own first inning rally. 4 on the board, still 2 on base, and Kern stepping in.
As we mentioned pregame, we've seen Amanda here be able to put up these runs and just using the bats early to show off here a little bit.
And if I like what you said earlier about the athleticism you're talking about, we've seen it here at the bottom of the order, the ability of Schiff and Thomas and to handle the bat, but they also run well. Good pitch there from Roberts. It's the swing and miss from Kern. See here if Coach Stone decides to push the running game a little bit. Let's see how Lynchburg will handle it in a 2-out spot. Pitch catches the outside corner, now 0-2. There's 2 schools of thought here. You know, you got your 9-hole up. You'd like to turn the order over for next inning, but at the same time, you got some speed on. You might want to put some pressure on the defense. Strike 3 on the outside corner, so Roberts gets out of the inning there, but not before the Aces plate 4 of them. After 1, Amanda 4, Lynchburg nothing. You're watching high school baseball here on Southern Ohio Sports Authority, presented by Ohio Health.
SOSA's The Dugout is Chillicothe's premier indoor baseball and softball training facility designed to serve local baseball and softball players of all ages. The Dugout is equipped with our fully featured hit tracks, the next-gen data capture and simulation system providing athletes with real-time feedback with the capability of playing in any of the 30 Major League Baseball stadiums. The Dugout has a 70-foot by 12-foot batting and pitching cage and every user has access to baseball and softball pitching machines, plyo wall and arm strength bands, pitching mounts and softball mats, multiple tees and hitting nets. Wall-to-wall AstroTurf, 285-inch TVs and Bluetooth speakers make the dugout the place to be for all of our area baseball and softball players, no matter the age. Train year-round, improve your performance, and further develop your skills in a fun and competitive environment at SOSA's The Dugout. Located in the heart of downtown Chillicothe at 185 East Main Street. Visit our website at sosadugout.com to reserve a time today.
Welcome back, Shane Combs, Kenneth Hay, and Kenneth there on our commercial, seeing SOSA, the dugout. That's been quite a facility. You and I were talking off the air a little bit. I've been impressed with how many different age groups from how many different directions have made their way to Chillicothe to try it out. And if you haven't, if you love baseball, softball, you really owe it to yourself to do so.
Yeah, I feel like I've seen ages from 5 to even in their 30s and 40s in there because sometimes you're an adult, you just got to have something to do. Why not go out and take a few swings?
Hey, never too old to have a little fun. Baseball, softball, it's kids' game. Ready to start here in the second inning as Chambers returns to the mound. Both teams threatened in the first inning, but Amanda comes away with a lot more to show for it. Lynchburg loaded the bases, 1 out. Chambers able to get the back-to-back strikeouts of Roberts and Niehaus and puts the goose egg up, and then Amanda able to plate 4, and they lead at 4-0. Bottom third of the order here for Lynchburg as Aiden Beneath will step in, the left fielder, swings through the first pitch behind a strike. 0-1 pitch, a little curveball, falls just off the outside corner to even the count at 1.
Beneath hitting .286 so far this season.
Swings. It's the one hard hopper there to third base. Miller fields, shows off that strong arm across to Thomas for the opening out of the inning.
First baseman, number 44, Caden Boone, will line up to bat. Hitting .300 on the dot so far through 6 games.
Yeah, not your typical bottom third as you'd expect from a 6-0 baseball team, as good as them. Off speed in for a strike, and Boone hitting from the left side there provides a little bit of pop, and Eric Slack on deck as they'll turn it back over to the top of the order after that. Good swing there. Just past the diving effort of Cole Shift and on into right field for a base hit. So Caden Boone continues his nice start to 2026 here with another hit, and then he'll be the one-out base runner as Eric Slack will step in.
I'm talking about some non-common in the bottom of the lineup. Eric Slack hitting .438, hitting in the 9-hole tonight.
Yeah, hit a little higher the other night. Had a big hit in that first inning that we referenced there. Big momentum builder. Pitch away there, just kind of showing. I don't think he'll bunt here. I just think he was trying to see what the defense would do and how they would react. Miller was going to come hard from third base. Chambers checks the runner, now set. This is away. Nice scoop there from Stone behind the plate, and right in the all-in-one motion, fires down to Thomas just to check on Boone.
I mean, we've talked about it the other day, just sometimes just showing the arm helps a little as the defense just not wanting to test it.
He does go to bunt there a little bit, and couldn't tell. I think he was trying to maybe push it. What happens there on that rotation, Kenneth, is if he's able to bunt that ball hard right at the second baseman where he's leaving, especially on this turf, that thing will roll on out there forever. Because, again, I don't think he's necessarily doing it for a true sacrifice. I think he's trying to handle the bat and get an extra base runner. There he does the same thing and missed it again. So now evens the count 2-2. See if he decides to swing away. Slack has 7 hits on the season through their first 6 games. Swing. Ground ball to shortstop. Not hit very well. Hollow enough to throw all the way across. And the speed of Slack is Going to be a problem there. Not hit hard enough, really, for them to get the lead runner. And then once Holland had to go deep in the hole there, really no chance. I would say that'll go as a hit. Now all of a sudden Lynchburg back in business. 2 on with 1 out as we head back to the top of the order, which is Harley Lewis here this evening. He walked back in the first inning to start the game.
We'll see Luke Davis, courtesy, running at first.
Utilizing that, I assume, for the pitcher-catcher. A lot of times they can agree to that in the non-league. Lewis showing bunt. Boone goes diving back into second base as Lewis pulled back. First baseman Thomas looks like he's going to charge it hard here. You want to bunt it toward third base if possible. Chambers falling behind 2-0. Let's see if that changes the strategy for Coach Flowers at all now that he's ahead in the order. Still going to bunt. Bunts it up in the air. Opportunity for Stone. Great hustle. Goes back and gets it. So Lynchburg unable to execute there in some fundamental baseball and give Stone a lot of credit. Good effort to go get the out, and that's a big out for Chambers and the Aces.
Yeah, I think both catchers so far have just done a great job of just blocking and then just being there. Like, especially at a facility like this, sometimes the ball could just get away from you, but they've done a great job blocking so far tonight.
Yeah, no question. And now Chambers, work not done yet with the good hitter and Wells in the box, and catches the outside corner there on the first pitch. And missed opportunity there for the Mustangs to get a couple guys over. But still with an RBI opportunity, Wells trying to get his Mustangs on the board. Pitch sells away a little bit. Count will even 1-1. 2 outs in the inning. Boone leads from second. Slack leads from first. Ball comes in, just misses the shoulder of Wells. Now Wells ahead in the count 2-1. Speed of Slack getting that big secondary lead at first. If Wells finds a gap, he can come all the way around. Kenneth noticed that time Thomas comes sprinting in, trying to get the attention of his catcher. That might be something to look for because he's already shown the willingness to throw it down there. 3-1 pitch, hard ground ball right at the second baseman, Schiff. They'll go that short route to second base and get the force to end the inning. Well, we head to the bottom of the second inning. Amanda leads at 4-0. Shank Holmes, Kenneth Hay. Stay with us. You're watching high school baseball on SOSA, presented by Ohio Health.
Since 1853, Tomlinson Insurance has been protecting families, farms, and businesses in our community. As an independent agency, we offer personalized coverage for your auto, home, farm, and business, plus health and life insurance too. And we proudly partner with Erie Insurance to give you peace of mind with reliable coverage at competitive rates. Tomlinson Insurance. Let our history be your future. Call us today at 740-773-4181 or visit us at tomlinsonins.com.
Welcome back, VA Memorial Stadium. Kenneth, you and I just talking off the air there during the commercial break. Lynchburg in the first 2 innings leave 5 on base. They had 3 hits there through those first 2 frames. Just couldn't come up with a big 2-out knock when they needed it. Credit Noah Chambers and the Amanda defense.
Yeah, we kind of saw a parallel first inning there with both teams loading up pretty early on, and we just saw Amanda take advantage where Lynchburg kind of didn't. They kind of fizzled out and left 3 on base at the bottom of that first, and that last inning had a runner in scoring position and 1 on first, and you just fizzle out a little bit on offense, and you have 5 left on so far, and the other team has 4 runs.
Yeah, no question about it. So now if you're Tanner Roberts, you're trying to settle back in. You know your offense has plenty of firepower over the course of 7 innings. So if you're Lynchburg-Clay, going to try to really settle in on this side of the ball and see if you can put up a goose egg. If you're Amanda, always a good thing when you come to the top of the second inning and you're right back up to the top of the order. That tells you the first inning must have went pretty well, which it did. It resulted in 4 runs. First pitch catches the outside corner for a strike. Nick Holland started the bottom of the first inning with a double down the right field line. It was hit up in the air and was able to fall just inside the line. This one, he lifts a fly ball out to center field. Niehaus seems to have a beat on it. He hauls it in for the first out.
I think, as we've mentioned before, it can go understated here just how difficult it is to not let it get behind you in a facility like this.
Well, and especially in that outfield, if it does, especially an athlete like Holland, you know it's going to be at least a triple. We've seen more inside the park home runs here than you would just about any other high school ballpark. One out batter is Brees Stone as the pitch misses away. He reached on the E6 back in the first inning. That was the hard ground ball there at shortstop that got through the glove and on out in the left center field. He would later score one of those 4 Amanda runs. Two-0 pitch misses inside. Now Stone way ahead with an opportunity to maybe get something started here for the Aces. Lynchburg-Clay really needing Roberts just to settle in and give him some innings here. There's a good pitch to fight back into the count, 3-1. You're talking earlier about the aggressiveness. Sometimes it depends on, are you in the RBI spot or are you just trying to get the inning started? And there, Stone able to get things started with the 5-pitch walk, and he'll be the one-out base runner.
What is your philosophy on the 3-0 swing, no swing? What's your idea on that?
I'll be honest, at the high school game, I'm not a big fan of it with nobody on or maybe just the guy at first. Now, if you're in an RBI spot, especially some of your best hitters, but if it's your best hitter, then you're probably going to get a similar pitch 3-1. But, yeah, if it's in an RBI spot or in a situation where I've got the right guy in the box, I want to give him the best pitch possible. Sometimes, though, you give the take sign and you're protecting the hitter against themselves. A lot of times what happens with young pitchers, they get a little excited and they'll chase. They're in total control of the count at 3-0 and they'll chase a bad one. You know what I mean? So a lot of times the older they get, it just comes down to the pitch count just a little bit. Not sure what we had there. The one coach had come out, now the other coach has come in. Should have Andrew Miller, the one-out batter, correct?
Yes.
So we had all 9 aces come to bat there in the first inning, and they started back at Holland, the fly out to Niehaus in center, and Stone on the walk. So I don't know. According to the lineup we were given, I think everything looks correct.
We talked about in the previous game, too, on that 3-0 count. Sometimes you take 2, you kind of, as we said, with the confidence with the pitching, kind of gets in the pitcher's head a little bit if he misses and gives up that walk.
Right. Now, maybe, like you're mentioning the walk, maybe they didn't agree on the count there. I'm just guessing here. I don't know what else it could be. We had it as a 5-pitch walk, correct?
Yes, and currently that was Brees Stone walking, and we see number 23, Nick Holland, standing on first.
Oh, maybe. Okay, you said earlier, I didn't catch that. That's a good pickup on your part. You said earlier about the courtesy runner. A lot of people have more of a version of you can't have someone in the lineup there, so it's someone that is maybe off of the bench. So maybe that's what the question was of, hey, why is Nick Holland able to come out of the lineup and go run in that spot there. I've never been a big fan of the courtesy runner at the varsity level anyway, but that's just a personal opinion. First pitch in for a strike. I understand it maybe gives people an opportunity to play a little bit, so I'm open-minded to that argument. So I get that at the high school level, gets another kid in the game. I just think at the varsity level, I like to go ahead and just sub it up and on the lineup card the normal way. 1-1 the count here to Andrew Miller. He swings and fouls it off the right side. Miller walked back in the first inning, so at the time that loaded the bases with nobody out. And Roberts got Kimmerling the fly out, struck out Thomas. Looked like he was going to get out of it, but an error kept the inning alive, and Amanda capitalized and put 4 on the board.
Well, without the courtesy runner, you just see the difference in all your batters in the lineup. And base running is such a skill in the game that it's kind of a each their own, I guess, on the courtesy runner opinion.
Sure. Fouls the 1-2 pitch back. And again, look, I understand what they're saying. It's you get an 8:30 start. If you can have the catchers and pitchers off the bases and you can move along across. But again, you're talking varsity baseball. You're talking about two really good baseball teams. It doesn't take all day to get in and out of the dugout and get transition between the innings. 1-2 pitch here. Just misses off the outside. Evens the count 2-2. Now the 2-2 delivery. Fouled off. So do we have a number on the young man at first? Did Stone go back out there, or did they use someone off the bench to run?
Stone went back out there, and he's currently on first.
Okay.
Well, then another thing about the courtesy runner, you kind of see the highlighted bit of coaching and just the substitutions later in the game when you see guys come in to run and the pinch hit, just the movement around the field of it, basically everybody on the field.
No question. Pretty good battle here between Roberts and Miller, the 2-2. Catches the outside corner, and he rings him up on the backwards K. Much-needed strikeout for Roberts. It's his third strikeout already here in the early going. Make the two-out batter Gary Kimmerling. Swinging at the first offering, swings through it for a strike. Tell you, Robert's stuff plays, just a matter of him getting in the zone. Been real impressed with his stuff here this evening. Caden Boone walked in off first base, said something to his pitcher. Now back over holding the runner. 2 outs here in the inning. Strike 2, the delivery to the Aces cleanup hitter, and now Roberts has got him in a hole 0-2. So he'll try to put the Aces away here in the home half of the second. Swing and a miss. Strike 3, another strikeout for Roberts, and the Aces will strand one here in the second. They still lead at 4-0. We're off to the third inning. Stay with us. You're watching high school baseball here on SOSA, presented by Ohio Health.
This broadcast is brought to you in part by Willie & Son Trucking. Willie & Son Trucking has been a proud supporter of local student-athletes, coaches, and athletic programs throughout its history. Be sure to look out for the Shack Athlete of the Week, presented by Willie & Son Trucking, each week at sosaohio.com.
Welcome back here as we head to the third inning. Amanda on top of Lynchburg 4-0 as Coach Flowers will huddle up his Mustangs as they come up for the third time on the evening, and they find themselves in a position that they're probably not real familiar with here in the early going, which is behind. But again, these can be good character checks and ability to play in all situations, and going up against a good right-hander here in Noah Chambers. Kenneth, what's been your opinion of Chambers here in the early going?
I mean, just handling the pressure, as we said earlier, just loading the bases up early in the first and then having 2 on in the second one in scoring position, and just the confidence to stay in there and just get these strikeouts, because, man, it's tough on there when you're worried about the run support behind you, and just dealing and staying calm. That's kind of the name of the game for a pitcher.
Yeah, it really is. And now that you have the 4-run cushion, and I say cushion quite lightly here when you talk about the ability of this Lynchburg offense, but I think it's a situation where you it does give Chambers a little bit of comfort knowing that, hey, if I don't have to be absolutely perfect, I have a little bit to play with here to give my team a chance to be successful.
Well, yeah, it's not just a one mistake and we're behind situation anymore. He has, I don't want to say a little bit to give up, because of course you never want to give anything up, but you kind of get a little more confidence and a little more just a room for error to throw a little of your stuff out there.
Leading off third inning here is going to be Christian Beachy, 3-hole hitter for the Mustangs. He had a single back in the first inning. Pitch bounces up there, ball 1.
Beachy hitting .250 so far through 6 contests.
Strike 1, evens count 1-1. Beachy was the second guy to reach in that. And after his teammate Baker was hit by a pitch, the Mustangs had loaded the bases with 1 out. He gets jammed there a little bit, sends a ground ball. The charging Schiff lose it momentarily, and then with the glove flip, Cole Schiff, that was a good play because looked like he had booted it originally, did a good job of not quitting on the play.
Yeah, both on the second baseman and the first baseman there, just both on the throw and the receive. I was ready for the ball to go out of play there, but just an excellent job just taking care of business.
Yeah, it was a good pitch from Chambers. Got in on the hands of Beachy, and Schiff charging it hard and able to make the play. 1 out batter now, the cleanup hitter Max Baker. He was hit by a pitch back in the first inning. Swing and miss there for strike 1. And as I was saying a second ago, at the time out loaded the bases with 1 out. Lynchburg was in business, but ended up nothing to show for it. There's a swing and a ground ball out to shortstop. Holland fields it glove side, steps and throws across to Thomas for the second out of the inning. Nicely done, Nick Holland.
Well, at the high school level, you see a lot of high strikeout games, but if I'm correct, like so far he's 3 or 4 Ks?
Yeah,
tonight?
well, he got all 3 of the Ks in the first inning, but since then his defense has really went to work for him, particularly his ground ball defense. Each of his infielders have made a play, and he'll go ahead and make this one himself on the comebacker. Nice, easy inning on 3 ground ball outs, and just like that, we'll head to the bottom of the 3rd inning. It's Amanda 4, Lynchburg 0. Stay with us. You're watching high school baseball on Southern Ohio Sports Authority, presented by Ohio Health.
Richard. Countless nights in the garage. 8 shiny new pistons. 1 very happy 16-year-old granddaughter. And 2 years since starting cancer treatment at Ohio Health.
Welcome back. A beautiful night here at the VA Memorial Stadium. Now, I say that from our comfortable seat here in the press box. If you're down there watching below, maybe starting to get a little chilly out there on the field. Obviously, the temperature dropping into the mid, maybe low 50s here by the time we're done. But for the most part, been a really nice week here of weather, which has allowed a lot of baseball, softball to really get going.
Yeah, and the point I was making before the break is it's kind of an underrated skill, I think, in baseball, just throwing pitches that call for soft contact, that let it right at the middle and get those easy fielding outs.
Yeah, it's interesting you mentioned that because we're such a day of analytics with the strikeout. Let's face it, the strikeout does take a lot of pressure off your defense. But what I've been real impressed with Amanda here tonight is the athleticism up the middle with Nick Holland at short and Cole Schiff there at second base, and infield for Amanda, the strong arm of Miller over at third. And once Chambers is settled in, Amanda's been really solid on that side of things. Head to the bottom of the 3rd inning now. 5, 6, 7 due up for the Aces. Thomas, Chambers, and Schiff. Colin Thomas struck out looking back in the 1st inning. First pitch swinging, lifts a fly ball out over top of second base. Lewis drops steps, squares it up. He makes the catch for the 1st out. First pitch swinging for Thomas. That'll help the pitch count of one Tanner Roberts. Pitcher Noah Chambers is the 1-out batter. I think it's safe to say he's probably had the biggest at-bat so far in the game. Remember, that was the ground ball that could have ended the inning. The air got the first run home and allowed them to continue. And he turns on one here and absolutely rips it right over top of the right field. That ball's going to go all the way to the wall. This has a chance to be a 3-bagger. Chambers never stops, coming all the way in. The throw comes into third base. And just like that, Amanda back in business. Right fielder Alex Van Fleet, playing probably medium depth, but just ball really well hit by Chambers, and you can tell right off the bat that probably had the right fielder beat.
Yeah, as you said, just at this facility, too, with a turf field, new turf, too, only put in last season, the ball will just roll all the way to the wall.
Yeah, no question. And man, there's a lot of space out there. You see so many triples in this ballpark, and that one of the one-out variety gives Cole Schiff a chance to maybe play a little add-on. Schiff, first pitch swinging, lifts a line drive out. Niehaus coming in. He'll make the catch. Chambers is going to tag, and he comes on home head first across the plate for the 5th Aces run of the night. Good piece of hitting, Cole Schiff, wasting no time. Gets that ball to the outfield, gets the run in.
Quick sack fly there is 27. Jack Thompson, the designated hitter, will come up to bat. As you said, 5-0 here in the bottom of the third.
Yeah, going to clear the bases now with 2 out. First pitch swinging. Thompson back up the middle. Nice play. Wells was able to get there to knock it down. Not going to be able to make the play. That'll go as an infield hit, I'm sure. Nothing else allows Amanda to try to turn the order over. Evan Kern hitting out of the 9-hole, the left fielder. He struck out to end the first inning. First pitch to Kern. He takes it away for a ball. Bottom of the third. Shane Combs, Kenneth Hay here on SOSA. So glad you're with us. Some late night baseballs. We got a late start doing an extra inning game in the first game. If you're just joining us, Amanda pitched out of a problem in the top of the first inning, then scored 4 runs of its own in the bottom half, and now have added one here in the third inning. They lead at 5-0. Needed 2-0 pitch in for a called strike. 2-1 now on Kern. Pitch comes right back in the strike zone, evens up 2-2. Good aggressive pitch there from Roberts. Big out here in front of Roberts with the top of the order standing on deck. Ground ball the other way. Outstanding effort and stop. Caden Moon knocks it down. Nothing he could really do with it, Roberts is trying to get over there to cover. Even Lewis was on the way, but that was just kind of a no-man's land. Kern runs well. And Kenneth, I guess that's the advantage of just putting the 2-strike pitch in play and making the defense make a play.
Yeah, and Amanda's just done so well at just doing the little things like that, just putting the ball in play, giving their guys a chance, and that's put them up 5-0 so far here in the bottom of the third.
So after the Thomas flyout, Chambers tripled. Schiff with the sac fly got the run in. Looked like it was going to at least be a quieter inning from that point on, but Thompson and Kern with other plans, back-to-back infield singles, and now you're back to the top of the order, and Nick Hollins thinking add-on. First pitch strike, second pitch ball. Sorry, Kenneth, go ahead.
You're all good. As we mentioned multiple times, just like with the athleticism that Amanda has, just putting the ball in play just gives your guys a chance, and worked out so far tonight.
There's a big 1-1 cut. Swings through it, 1-2. As I said, this Nick Hollins third at bat. We're in the third inning. Anytime your leadoff hitter's hitting in each inning, you know it's going well for you, and that obviously equals 5-0 Amanda at this point. One-two delivery. Just misses off the outside corner. Good pitch there. Good eye from Holland. 2-2. This is that decision pitch you want because you run the count full and you're going to let Thompson and Kern get started on the pitch. The 2-2. Again, just off the outside corner. So now 3-2, 2 outs. What's going to happen here? You're going to get Thompson and Kern off on the pitch. So it's going to make for tough forces, and if he's able to knock a ball out in the outfield, you're going to have a chance to score a couple. Fouls it off and do it again. You always appreciate that if you're Thompson and Kern. You get your sprints in here, I guess, because you're going to do it again.
A little extra conditioning.
So again, the designated hitter, Jack Thompson, he leads from second. Evan Kern leads from first. They'll start again. And once again, Holland with a good two-strike protection knocks it over into the playground here at the VA Memorial Stadium. I don't think they have that open just yet. I know during the summer here at Chillicothe Paints games, that's quite the spot for the youngsters. You ever draw that duty down in the playground playing with the youngsters?
I think I've outgrown my time there, luckily. I think I've only had to work there one time, and I was about 15, and you got like 20 kids running around in there. You don't know much to do.
Yeah.
Got to control the chaos somehow.
Yeah, who knows what they're doing. It's your fault they're doing it. Get some extra baseballs in there as Nick Hollins sprayed a couple out of play here, so now about ready to go back to action. And as I said, Thompson and Kern going to continue to sprint it out. Roberts and Holland going to do a battle 3-2, 2 outs. And he misses. So little 2-out rally here continuing. Good at bat for Nick Holland. Falls behind in the count, fights all the way back. And now with the bases loaded, Bree Stone will be the batter. He reached on an error back in the first inning. He walked in the second. Now with a chance to really blow this thing open a little bit. He's got speed all over the bases with the likes of Thompson, Kern, and Holland.
As you said, Amanda just doing the little things and fighting to stay in. He takes the first for a strike.
And again, you talked all night, a lot of times in these RBI spots, you want to be aggressive, but at the same time, bases loaded, nowhere to put you. You don't want to stretch the strike zone. There, it looks like Roberts took a little something off that, had him out in front, big, long swing. Now, notice the same thing from Holland. Let's see if Stone will shorten up with 2 strikes and try to get the ball in play. 0-2 pitch. That ball's hit pretty well to center, but there is Niehaus, has it squared up and falls into his glove to limit the further damage from being done. Nonetheless, Amanda adds a run, and they'll lead at 5-0. We'll head to the 4th inning. Shank Holmes and Kenneth Hay, glad you're with us. Stay with us. You're watching high school baseball on SOSA, presented by Ohio Health.
Glow Fiber is now in Ohio. And with gig speed fiber internet, we're keeping things real. As in real reliable speeds. Real people who really want to talk to you. Not to mention, real simple pricing. Switch to Glow Fiber today to get real fast, real reliable fiber internet and your first month free. Glow Fiber is here. Welcome to Glow Ohio. Call 1-833-WANT-GLOW or visit glowfiber.com to switch today.
Kimberly. Tons of practice. One chop away from a black belt. 7 of the best sidekicks. And 5 years since her cancer diagnosis at Ohio Health.
Welcome back to VA Memorial Stadium. Amanda leads Lynchburg 5-0 as we enter the 4th inning. And I look down through my scoring here, Kenneth, and through the first 3 cracks at Noah Chambers, the Mustangs have left 5 on base. They've had 3 hits. They were hit by a pitch, and they were able to draw a walk. But none of those Mustangs able to come around and score, as Chambers seemed to really find a little bit of a groove, retiring, let's see here, the last 5 Mustangs that have come to the plate.
Yeah, as we said, that first and second inning, Lynchburg-Clay kind of had something going there, loading up the bases in the first and having runners in scoring position in the second, and just nice job there from Chambers to just close the inning. And then that last in the third, kind of just went 1-2-3, infield, 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 ground out, ground out, ground out.
Yeah, you certainly take that. Helps a pitch count for sure. Trevor Niehaus doing a nice job out in center field this evening. Will lead off as Lynchburg's going to bat him 6, 7, 8, 9. And if you're rooting for the Mustangs, hopefully a whole lot more. If you're Chambers, you'd like to stay efficient and not let the top of the order get a crack at it here, because a lot of times you get late in the ball game, you want to try to limit how many times that top of the order is going to come up. 1-1 pitch, lifted, softly hit just out to shortstop. Easy play, Nick Holland. That's the first out of the inning. It's got that off the end of the bat. Off the swing, it looked like it was hit a little bit better. Didn't sound like very good contact, though.
And you mentioned pitch count. At what point in the game do you start to think about that in the back of your head?
Well, if you're being honest, you think about the pace of it throughout early on, and you try to stay efficient. And I'm telling you, it's cliche. It sounds so basic, but strike one's really important. I always felt like when you throw strike one, you take the third base coach out of it a little bit, because you start falling behind in the count. It's hard to take more and more pitches. But if it's 1-0, 2-0, now all of a sudden you feel like you have one to play with, and, man, that can really start to add up in a hurry. Here's a good example of Chambers being ahead 0-2. He does waste a pitch there, and then that's another thing that comes into play is, how much do you want to waste pitches if you're trying to keep that pitch count down? You want to stay aggressive even in the 2-strike spots. That ball's hit pretty well to left center field. Kimberling's going to run after it all the way to the gap. I think it's all the way to the wall. So in this ballpark, as we said, this got a chance to be a triple. Holland on the relay, and if he has the ball, he's got him and caught him safe. So they say missed him. Maybe the ball came loose there. It's tough for us to tell up here. Could you tell on your screen over there if that ball came loose?
Yeah, I think that they'll say that he didn't have the ball in his glove when he tagged, because it looked like he was fumbling a little bit on the ground there.
So Aiden Benin with a one-out triple into left center field. From what we could tell, the relay from Kimberling to Holland, the shortstop, over to Miller, the third baseman, was pretty well done, but unable to get the tag on him. So opportunity for Lynchburg to get on the board. Don't have to get them all back here, but you certainly would like to get some scoring started. Caden Boone, the left-handed batter out of the 8-hole. He had a single to right field earlier in the game, back in the second inning.
Well, Lynchburg, a team we know can put up runs, has put up 10-plus in every outing so far except one game so far this season.
First pitch swinging out in front of it a little bit. Down into the Amanda bullpen, all the way down into the corner, and I think the right fielder will go ahead and pick that one up now. It's always my favorite is when the outfielder starts for it, they say, leave it, and then, well, you're already there. And go ahead and get it back in. So Chambers needs to check his right fielder, make sure he's back in play. Looks like he is. Stays away from the lefty there a little bit now, ahead 0-2. If you're being greedy, you certainly would love to strike out, but I think Amanda, now as you get into the fourth inning leading 5-0, I would think you would trade that run for the second out of the inning. What you don't want is Boone to be able to knock that run in and with a hit, because then he can continue to rally. Ball gets in on his hands, and he gets just enough on it to get it up over top of the second baseman, Cole Schiff. Good piece of hitting there. Caden Boone, 2 for 2. That one, the RBI variety.
Mustangs get it on the board here. Pretty late game so far, only the fourth inning, 9:30 right now.
Give the Mustangs bottom third a lot of credit here. Aiden Benet out of the 7-hole with the one-out triple. Caden Boone gets behind in the count, gets jammed there, but gets enough on it to fight it out in the right field for the hit. Now Eric Slack will bat with one out. There's the runner. Chambers steps off. Now they've got the runner in they call a balk. I thought the back foot stepped off. I don't know if Coach Stone's going to agree with this. They're going to say the front foot moved first, I guess is what they're saying.
with the balk. Runner on first will advance to second. Seems like a rule that just gets more and more confusing every single time it's called.
Well, you know what makes it confusing too is you get some of these kids coming set in the stretch, and they're coming set a couple different times with some rocker moves and some different things, and you'll get some umpires that tell you as long as they do it the same way every time. That was a unique spot where they kind of went first move and just took off and calls the balk, and nonetheless moves the runner up in the scoring position. Slack fouls that back, and he's behind 0-2. Remember, Boone was behind as well and able to come up with the big RBI knock. Now Lynchburg needs Eric Slack to be able to do the same thing. It's a pitch, ground ball over the third base side. That's dribbles foul just in front of the Lynchburg dugout. And
I don't know if there's much better of a batting average than 438 you'd want at the plate with a runner in scoring position.
Yeah, no question. He's been a good hitter here in the early going this year. Single back in the second inning was his 8th hit of the year as he continues to build on that 438 average coming in. Still behind in the count, 1-2. Gets in on his hands, and that one's fouled back. And so Chambers continuing to try to establish the inside corner.
Doing a good job of just staying alive here so far.
Top of the order, and Harley Lewis on deck. The pitch. Just gets a piece of it. Stay alive. Good battle here. Eric Slack proving to be a tough out down at the bottom of the order. Good off speed. Catches the outside corner. Great sequence there. Give Bree Stone, the catcher, a lot of credit on the frame. And then Noah Chambers executing. Much needed strikeout as he catches Slack looking.
So for Lynchburg, you're back to the top of your lineup with Harley Lewis. Runner in scoring position, 2 outs.
Looked like a changeup from where we're sitting up here. Nice job of Stone on the drop and block as Lewis hit out of the 9-hole the other night, but that was with Elam Faust in the lineup. Elam Faust taking the night off. He was on base 5 times there the other night. And their 13-2 win over Eastern. You know, Kenneth, make no mistake about that. That Reedsville Eastern team's are really, really good. Coach Stewart, one of the best in the business. 2 years ago, they win the Division III district title. Last year, the Division 4, and then last year Division 6 as we went to the 7 divisions. But you can rest assured that there'll be a player once again come district time this year. I believe they're D6 again. There's a ground ball, right side. Shift charges hard. Quick release over to Thomas, and that'll end the inning. So Lynchburg plates 1. They leave 1. They're on the board now as they cut the Amanda lead to 5-1. Stay with us. You're watching high school baseball on SOSA, presented by Ohio Health.
Swing and a line into left field. Pates will walk it off. That one base is loaded in 2. Pitch. It is low, and this one dripped the pitch. Skied into center field, hit pretty well. Major back to the track, to the wall. It is gone.
At Chillicothe Comfort Heating and Air, your comfort is our priority year-round.
Whether it's blazing hot or freezing cold, we've got your back with fast, reliable service you can trust.
Locally owned, honest, and done right the first time.
We have financing options available for every budget, as well as 60 months 0% interest.
Call us today and feel the difference that comfort makes.
Welcome back to VA Memorial Stadium here in Chillicothe. Shane Combs, Kenneth Hay with you. So glad that you've stayed with us here. Late night baseball, the beautiful facility, home of your Chillicothe Paints. But this time of year, so gracious to always let high school baseball. Been such ambassadors, really, if you will, Kenneth, for the game of baseball. And I know they're going to try some softball as well throughout the year. And always been so good to our area. I think they've been a big player in the level of baseball that we've been able to play.
Yeah, you'll see high school varsity games out here. You'll see some junior high contests. As you said, we're going to get some softball out here this year, and just great time to be at the VA coming up soon.
Home half of the fourth inning, 3-4-5 for Amanda as Andrew Miller, the third baseman, will step in. He walked back in the 4-run first inning and then struck out looking in the second inning. Lifts a high fly ball out over top of short. Wells drops, steps, and he'll call off his left fielder, Benee, and Wells will haul it in for the first out of the inning.
And as you said about Lynchburg down now, but they can score in a hurry, beating, as you said, the really talented Reedsville Eastern team earlier this week here at the VA Stadium.
Kenneth, you mentioned the stat. What was that? They've scored at least 10 in all but one game so far. That gives you a lot of confidence that you can come back in this particular situation, I would think.
Only game they didn't score 10. They scored 6 in extra innings in the top half of a doubleheader against Adena.
I think they got him on the swing there, so it's going to run the count 0-2 as Gary Kimmerling bats with one out. Hit a fly ball over to the third baseman in the first inning, struck out in the second, still looking for his first hit here of the evening. 0-2 pitch misses away.
And as you said, when you get that first and second strike, you're just more willing to try something.
It's the outside corner. Good strong wrist from Eric Slack to showcase that pitch for the umpire, and he rings him up. Backwards K. 2 outs.
I think that's what he was almost trying to do with that previous pitch, just missed a little outside.
5th strikeout of the evening for Tanner Roberts.
This is high on the first pitch here.
Certainly settled in since the first inning. Has been in much better command. Swing and a miss there, evens count 1-1. He had 2 of those strikeouts in the first, had 2 more in the second, and then the one here in the fourth to get his total to 5 on the evening, as I mentioned. Colin Thomas in the box now swings and misses. That's 1-2. Thomas struck out looking back in the first inning. Then he hit a fly ball just off the infield to second baseman Harley Lewis back in the third. Outside pitch. Thomas thought about it. I think he held up there. I don't even think they're going to appeal. I feel like they just made the call from home. 2-2. The count is Roberts looking for a much-needed quick inning. Just off the outside corner, going to run the count full. So, again, opportunity here for Tanner Roberts to have a 1, 2, 3, 4th and maybe get that pitch count back on pace. This becomes a pretty big pitch. Ground ball shortstop. Wells moving arm side, sets the feet, throws across. Tried to pick it out. Did Caden Boone over at first base? I think he did, but I think they said that Thomas beat it. Well, let's see how they score that next door for us here. I want to try to stay on their official score.
I believe that's their third error. So I think they gave it an error.
So the one-out base runner is Thomas. Now Chambers. Chambers reached on the air back in the first inning. Remember, it was his one-out triple that led to the run in the third inning. Roberts quickly ahead 0-2. I think you're right on that third error. Looking down here at my sheet, I'd only had 2, so that it does show 3 on the scoreboard now as the 0-2 pitch missed just above the top of the strike zone. That ball's hammered to center field. That ball will get down in front of Niehaus and move Thomas up to second. Chambers, second hit of the night. Young man's had quite an evening pitching the ball game he is against this outstanding Lynchburg team, and that's now the third time he's been on base, his second hit of the evening. And here they are threatening again. Cole Schiff, the two-out batter. Remember, it was his two-run single back in the first inning that got things going, and then the sac fly in the third, so he's working on a 3 RBI night. Hey, I got it off the end of the bat there, and Roberts will step off the mound, take care of that one himself, and that will end the threat. They strand two, but they still lead at 5-1. We're off to the fifth inning. Shane Combs, Kenneth Hay, glad you're with us. You're watching high school baseball here on SOSA, presented by Ohio Health.
Are you looking for the best deals on quality used trucks and cars?
Great news. Chillicothe Truck has what you're looking for.
Choose from a wide selection of makes and models. All vehicles undergo a detailed multi-point inspection and extensive reconditioning before hitting the lot. Our friendly team offers a no-pressure sales experience, ensuring you find the perfect vehicle to fit your needs. Plus, you can customize your ride with our extensive range of truck accessories, from bed covers to lift kits. Stop by 173 Rennick Avenue in Chillicothe or call us today at 740-773-8782 to get started right now.
Our employees certainly get the credit for that growth. The relationships that they build. People want to deal with people they can trust, they know, feel connected to. And I think that's where a community bank such as Kingston really shines. The color of money is the same no matter where you go, but I think the people behind it is what makes the difference. Having the empathy to understand what's going on in someone's business or personal lives and how you might be able to help it. I think our customers expect that, want that, and truthfully, they deserve that.
On to the top of the fifth inning we go. Amanda leads Lynchburg 5-1. Coach Flowers will turn to 2, 3, 4 in his order. Wells, Beachy, and Baker. Noah Chambers has been on the mound since the start of this thing for Amanda. Worked through some trouble there in the first inning, but all in all has been really solid on the evening. He scattered 5 hits. He stranded 6 Mustangs on the bases, allowing just the 1 run. Certainly, if you're Coach Stone, you take that.
Lynchburg finally getting onto the board that last inning, but at some point you have to look at the time you have remaining in this game.
Pitch underway, swinging first pitch, line drive, single to right field. Good piece of hitting there by Quinn Wells. And as we said earlier, he's off to just an unbelievable start here in 2026. That's his first hit of the night. Nothing like going 1 for 3 and having your batting average drop.
Video game numbers coming in this game, batting .737.
Good start. That's what Lynchburg needs. As you said, they're going to have to get it going more than the single run. They're going to have to put up a crooked number to get back in this. Pitch misses away.
Wells was an all-Shack selection last season. Big contributor last year as a sophomore.
Going there on the pitch there. Great release there from the catcher. Made that a lot closer than I thought it would be. I thought he got a great jump on Chambers there. I thought that was a good release, good throw from Stone, but give Wells the stolen base. I think that's his 15th stolen base of the year. That's an insane number as well.
Only 6 games into the season, now 7.
RBI spot for Beachy. Had 2-0 in the count. Good pitch there. Again, you expect fastball count, and you can tell that he just not timed up there. Swing.
After I made that comment, Lynchburg with a runner in scoring position. Misses high for a ball. Ball 3, 3-1 count.
I think we got a ball there loose from the Lynchburg bullpen. They've got it back now, and so 3-1. You feel like this is a big spot in the game, this inning here, with Lynchburg coming through the heart of their order. That ball in the outside corner. Felt like Beachy was one step toward first base, thinking ball 4. Umpire disagreed, strike 2. Count runs full. Chambers pitch, fouled off down the right side. Do it again.
As we mentioned, only so many outs you get left in the game. It's important that when you get to this sweet spot in your lineup, you take advantage. As we know, Lynchburg can. So that'll be ball 4.
That's a big spot. Good at bat there from Beachy. So Wells and Beachy set the table, and out of the dugout comes Coach Stone, and I couldn't see right off the bat if he signaled or if he's just bringing the infield in. Chambers with 4 strikeouts on the evening. Remember, he had 3 of them in the first inning. The pitch around that mess that he got himself in. You're just joining us, top of the first inning. Lynchburg loaded the bases with 1 out. Chambers was able to strike Roberts and Niehaus out to get out of that mess. And then Amanda looked like they were going to squander an opportunity, but a 2-out error kept things going. And then Cole Schiff delivered a 2-run RBI single. Jack Thompson added an RBI single, and they went up 4-0. Amanda would later add a run in the 4th inning. 1-out double. Or excuse me, in the 3rd inning, the 1-out triple from Noah Chambers. Cole Schiff, the sacrifice fly, got him in. Lynchburg finally got on the board there in the 4th inning when Benee tripled with 1 out, and it was Caden Boone with an RBI single. Looks like we are going to have a pitching change. Can you see a number there for me, Kenna?
That'll be number 23 coming in. Be Nick Holland, the leadoff batter.
Off a shortstop then. It's going to close the book there on Chambers. Didn't get an out in the 5th inning, so he's going to go 4+. But over those 4 innings, like I said, struck out 4. Scattered the 5, now 6 hits. Walked 2 batters, hit another. But again, even with the traffic on the bases, he's been pretty solid. Now going to turn to his buddy Holland and see if he can't have some damage control.
Well, and for Lynchburg, you have 0 outs, 1st and 2nd on with your DH 4-hole coming up to bat. This is kind of the situation the 4-hole's built for right here.
The other interesting thing, Kenneth, I didn't have a chance to talk to anybody on the Lynchburg side. I didn't know if there was an injury or a night off, but Elam Faust out of the lineup, that's quite a weapon off of the bench if it is just a night off. Now, he may be injured, not available, I don't know. But if he is, that's obviously quite a weapon off the bench here if you get into a tighter game.
So for Amanda, we'll see Andrew Miller move to short, and I'll get a number on that 3rd base that moved over.
Is that where Chambers moved to? I didn't see where Chambers went when he went off the mound there. Holland misses away. 1-0. Max Baker is your hitter, the 4-hole. DH. Hit by a pitch back in the 1st inning. Grounded out to short in the 3rd. Outstanding move off of the mound, and they got him. Quick feet. The shortstop, Holland, now on the mound. You could see that develop a little bit as the shortstop Miller moved in, and absolutely quick feet, great throw, right on target, and boy, is that a big out.
So Colin Thomas moves from 1st to 3rd, and Chambers will slot in at 1st base.
That time he tries to pick him off first, throws it down in the bullpen. They're going to try to go 1st to 3rd. That pitch is there, and that ball gets thrown away. That ball goes all the way in, and that's going to get a run home. So you're going to have 2 throwing errors. So you no more pick a guy off 2nd, and then you get 2 throwing errors. The first one's going to allow the runner to go 1st to 3rd. The second one's going to allow him to come home. And just like that, Beachy crosses the plate and cuts the lead to 5-2.
Still only one out here in the 5th inning for the Mustangs.
Kind of a fresh start if you're Holland now. 5-2, bases empty, and see if you can really settle in. You basically start counting these outs a little bit. You know, you're 8 outs away, so you've kind of given the game over to Holland, and you'd like to see him really settle in here. Ball's hit fairly well down the left field line into the picnic area, foul.
It's going to go hang out on the party deck for the rest of the evening.
Shows you a little bit of the power of Max Baker, because I didn't think he even really squared that one up very well. I thought he was out in front of it a little bit with all arms on the swing, and that ball carried fairly deep down into the corner. 2-1 delivery. Pitch just misses. Now 3-1, and good at bat here from Baker. You're trying to start everything over for your team. You need base runners. Swinging 3-1. He swings through it, runs the count full. Three-two pitch. And he misses. So a walk for Baker. He's on base for the second time this evening. One out batter will be the pitcher, Tanner Roberts. So, Kenneth, to give the fans the right look here, you said Chambers came over the first. You said Miller went to short, and then Thomas came over to third?
Yes, sir. His first pitch is in for a strike.
You certainly could see the stuff here from Holland. Good velocity. Just a matter of commanding it. And listen, when you don't get an opportunity in the bullpen with a normal warm-up, coming off of the field from shortstop there, that's a tough thing to do. Oftentimes, you'll see the young man settle in just a little bit more. But, man, this first inning, that's not an easy thing to settle into, especially on a cool night like tonight.
And a late night creeping up towards 10 p.m. here at the VA Stadium.
2-1, that was a late timeout granted there. I think maybe the hitter was verbalizing it. Looked like Baker was off and running there. So 2-1, we'll try it again here. Pitch outside, snap throw down to first base from Stone. Not in time, so now 3-1. All of a sudden, Holland in desperate need of a strike. Already walked Baker here. Now falling behind Roberts. Pitch is in there for a strike. 3-2. Only one out. Let's see if Coach Flowers decides to start the runner here. He does not, but the ball four, that ball gets away, but that was ball 4 anyway, so you're just watching the lead runner not letting him advance to third. So back-to-back walks, well, really 3 straight walks if you go back to the final batter of Chambers. All 4 guys here in the inning, Kenneth, reached, but that tells you how big that pickoff was out at second to get the 1 out. So Baker at second, Roberts at first. 1 out batter will be Trevor Niehaus. He struck out back in the first inning. Hit a fly ball out the short in the fourth.
Davis will come in to run at first base.
And that's for the pitcher. So I think if we've been reading what they've been doing here tonight, they've been using the courtesy for the pitcher-catcher. So with 1 out. Squares the bunt, gets it down. Holland off of the mound, and he can't handle it. All hands are safe. So just like that, again, we'll see how they decide to score that and see what they put up there. But nonetheless, more importantly, Baker safe at third. Roberts safe at second. Now Niehaus on, and Aiden Beneath, who tripled into the left center field gap his last time up, now 1 out, bases loaded.
Similar situation to the first inning here tonight. Lynchburg hoping for some better results than the first time around.
Yeah, and trying to get a read on the scoreboard, what they called that there. I think he'd still, even with an error, get a sacrifice, but he's going to reach nonetheless. 1-1 the count. Benee grounded out to third base back in the second inning. That's when Miller was playing over there at third. Swings through the 1-1 offering, now behind in the count. And then back in the fourth inning, he hit that ball well out the left center field. Came all the way around the third, later scored. There's a ground ball. Miller short, flips to second. That's one, over for the double play. And what a big-time turn to squash a big-time threat. And pitcher's best friend, the old 6-4-3. That'll end the inning. They get out of it with limited damage. Lynchburg does plate one, cuts it back to 5-2. We head to the home half of the fifth. Stay with us. You're watching high school baseball on SOSA, presented by Ohio Health.
Richard. Countless nights in the garage. 8 shiny new pistons. 1 very happy 16-year-old granddaughter. And 2 years since starting cancer treatment at Ohio Health.
Back here at VA Memorial Stadium, Shane Combs, Kenneth Hay, here on SOSA, presented by Ohio Health. It's been a good one, as expected. Lynchburg comes in at 6-0. Amanda comes in under 500, but obviously with an incredibly tough schedule. We watched them beat a good Athens team over the weekend, so we knew this was going to be a good test for both teams, and I think it's played out to be just that.
Yeah, underrated so far. I think Tanner Roberts, after the rough first inning, giving up 5, has really just held down the ship so far in the past few innings for the Mustangs.
Yeah, no question. Yeah, as you mentioned, the 5 runs he's given up 4 of those in the first, and then he ended up giving up the other one there. Let's see, in the third inning when he had given up the 1-out triple to Noah Chambers and the sac fly from Cole Schiff. So, yeah, overall over the last 3 innings, certainly throwing the ball a little bit better command, and his offense got back to 5-2 there. Obviously, that 6-4-3 double play, that was a big play to squash that jam. But let's see if Amanda can get it back, as they're going to send 8-9-1 to the plate as Jack Thompson will lead off. Misses up. Jack Thompson with an RBI single back in the 4-run first inning, and then had another single in the third. So he's working on a 2-for-2 night. There's a fly ball out to center field. Great jump from Niehaus there, but he can't come up with it. I thought he got a pretty good jump off the bat from our vantage point, but that ball was dying fast, and finds some turf here as Thompson now 3-for-3.
Pretty good night.
Well, no question, especially out of the 8-hole here is the DH. So coming in, giving Coach Stone good offense, and now Evan Kern. Chance to play out on. Let's see if what Coach Stone might do. He might choose to bunt him over here. He does square to bunt. Beachy charging hard from third, so in this situation, if you're Kern, ideally you want to bunt it out of the middle, and with the charging third baseman, you'd like to bunt it up the first baseline. You're trying to get you're trying to get Thompson up the second base to give Holland and company a chance to drive him in, play a little add-on. Now going to swing away, 2-0. So again, a lot of opportunities for Coach Stone here. He can put the bunt back on. He can take the 2-0 pitch. He can let him swing away.
As you said, the further ahead you get in the count, the more you can try as he lines up the bunt.
And he bunts it right back to the pitcher. And again, that's the Cardinals' sin. You got to bunt it out of the middle, especially on this turf. He bunts it a little firm. Back to Roberts, the good athlete, bouncing right off the mound, fielding his position. Throws it out to second base there, gets the lead runner. So the failed sacrifice opportunity makes Nick Holland the one-out batter. Swing and miss is now Kern will replace Thompson as the base runner over at first. Again, early in the year, you learn from those situations. Those are so important as the year goes on to be able to execute down here at the bottom of the order. Holland working on a 1-for-2 night. He doubled in the first inning. Then after a fly out to center field, in the second, he walked in the third. It's already his fourth at bat just here in the fifth inning. It gives you an idea how Amanda's offense has been able to be pretty successful here. There's a big swing and a miss, the fall behind 1-2. Now, we watched this earlier from Holland, and when he got to the 2 strikes, he shortened up and started to become a little quicker to the ball. Let's see if he does that here with 2 strikes. Ground ball shortstop, probably too far off line to turn to 2, but great job by Lynchburg to at least get the lead guy. Wells went to Lewis, but then the speedy Holland, you're never going to double him up with that ball hitting the hole a little bit. Force play. Going to erase Kern 6-4. Now Holland will be the 2-out base runner at first, and Bree Stone will be your batter. Pitch, Holland going on the first pitch. Throw down. No good, so the speed of Holland with the stolen base still gives them an opportunity here to try to get that run back that Lynchburg was able to get in the top half of this fifth inning. One-oh pitch. And there for a strike. That would be a big lift, Ken, if they were able to get that run back and push it to a 4-run advantage.
Yeah, as we creep late in the game, just any extra runs added onto this lead, pretty dangerous against the Mustangs.
1-1 pitch, dribbled foul. Roberts ahead in the count against Bree Stone. Stone looking for his first hit of the evening. He did walk back in the second, sandwiched in between a E6 and a line out to center. Good off speed there, just missed. Good pitch there. Just missed, so 2-2 evens the count. Roberts delivers. Stone swinging, lifting a fly ball just over top the Amanda dugout. Good 2-strike hitting. Live to see another pitch. Plenty of speed out there at second. Nick Holland off pretty much on any contact in the 2-out spot. You'd have to think would score on any ball to the outfield. And he catches the outside corner for the strikeout, and that will end the inning. Hey, we've played 5. Amanda 5, Lynchburg 2. Stay with us. Should be a good one. You're watching high school baseball here on SOSA, presented by Ohio Health.
SOSA's The Dugout is Chillicothe's premier indoor baseball and softball training facility designed to serve local baseball and softball players of all ages. The Dugout is equipped with our fully featured hit tracks, the next-gen data capture and simulation system providing athletes with real-time feedback with the capability of playing in any of the 30 Major League Baseball stadiums. The Dugout has a 70-foot by 12-foot batting and pitching cage, and every user has access to baseball and softball pitching machines, plyo wall and arm strength bands, pitching mounds and softball mats, multiple tees and hitting nets. Wall-to-wall AstroTurf, 285-inch TVs, and Bluetooth speakers make the Dugout the place to be for all of our area baseball and softball players, no matter the age. Train year-round, improve your performance, and further develop your skills in a fun and competitive environment at SOSA's The Dugout. Located in the heart of downtown Chillicothe at 185 East Main Street. Visit our website at sosadugout.com to reserve a time today.
Off to the top of the 6th inning we go. Amanda leads at 5-2 as Lynchburg will come to bat. They will send 8-9-1 to the plate. Caden Boone, Eric Slack, and Harley Lewis. Caden Boone working on a 2-for-2 night. He's had 2 singles, the last one being an RBI.
First baseman batting .300 this season and just had an impact. 7 hits tonight so far for the Mustangs. Just have left a few on base, and that's kind of been, I don't want to say the death of them, but the crux of their deficit right now.
Coach Flowers will look to Caden Boone to get things started. Certainly love to get Boone and Slack on base if you're rooting for the Mustangs, and let that order turn back over. Down to 6 outs remaining. Nick Holland come on in relief with 2 on there in the 5th inning. He picked the guy off and then struggled to find his command a little bit, but ended up getting a double play ball to get out of the inning.
As after the time, we'll get a first pitch strike.
Swinging a miss. That was a kind of weird offering, so he had given the time. Holland already let go of it. So now way ahead, 0-2. And on the hands, fouls it back. If I remember correctly, I don't have that down here in my scorebook, but I believe that was an 0-2 pitch. Got in on Boone's hands when he was able to fight it off in the right field for that RBI single earlier. Good 2-strike hit, or just throws the barrel out there, keeps it alive. Been impressed with the way he handles the bat. The 300 average coming into the night on the climb as he's working 2 for 2. There he shoots one out to center field. The speed of Gary Kimmerling coming in has a beat on it for the first out of the inning. Impressed with that young man athletically out there in center. I thought the same thing, that he can really go get it. Eric Slack's the 1-out batter, 1 for 2 on the evening, singled in the 2nd, struck out looking in the 4th. Holland misses away. It's that 2nd run. He charged back to Chambers in the 2nd inning, so you would close the book on him. He'll get the 2 runs to him.
Do the innings start to creep up on you if you're Lynchburg?
Well, a little bit. You just start to count the outs, and again, what's happening here is if you're Amanda, you want to try to close the door as quick as you can because you want to limit Lynchburg. Top the order is going to come up one more time. You certainly don't want to open the door to where they could come back a 2nd time. So a lot of that's the efficiency of the pitcher trying to close it out. But yeah, sure. I mean, if you're Lynchburg, you start looking up there. You're down to 5 outs on the night. You need 3 runs to get even. Full count pitch. Fouled off will do it again. Again, Eric Slack's been a tough out, although he did strike out back in the 4th. Watching him throughout Monday and again tonight, certainly handles the bat well. Good offensive weapon for Coach Flowers. Another pitch, another foul. Turned on it out into the parking lot here at VA Memorial Stadium. Nick Holland, good player for the Aces, played a good shortstop to start. He's hit leadoff tonight, now trying to pitch and close the door and just missed above the strike zone. Don't know if the Amanda fan base down below us agreed with that, but they don't get a vote.
It sounds pretty cheerful down there from my point of view.
So we'll go with the 1-out walk.
There's never anybody upset at the VA Memorial Stadium.
So in the one-out walk, again with him being the catcher, going to get a runner out there. Can you see that number?
It's number 11, Luke Davis.
Luke Davis. So one out. The speedy Harley Lewis hit 9-hole the other night against Eastern, hitting leadoff here tonight. Tries to bunt, bunts it straight up in the air. Holland able to catch it, make the easy toss over the first base, and that's going to double everybody up to finish the inning. We head to the home half of the sixth. Amanda 5, Lynchburg 2. You're watching high school baseball here on SOSA, presented by Ohio Health.
This broadcast is brought to you in part by Willie and Son Trucking. Willie and Son Trucking has been a proud supporter of local student athletes, coaches, and athletic programs throughout its history. Be sure to look out for the Shack Athlete of the Week presented by Willie and Son Trucking each week at sosaohio.com.
Welcome back to VA Memorial Stadium. We are heading to the home half of the sixth inning, and the home team, the Amanda-Clearcreek Aces, lead at 5-2. An impressive performance here against a really good Lynchburg-Clay squad, still without a loss on the season, coming in at 6-0. Coach Stone will send 3-4-5 to the batter's box. They'll try to add on to this 5-2 advantage. I can't tell. That's not Roberts out there anymore, is it? Can you see that number for me?
No, it looks like they've subbed in number 12, Tristan Puckett, a junior.
So Tristan Puckett on the pitch.
Has not made an appearance on the mound this season. You start to think, are they looking ahead to the next two matchups and got to watch that pitch count for your other guys?
Well, yes and no. I think probably, look, I mean, team's got a lot of depth. You're playing, I believe, all 5 nights this week, if I remember correctly. They were obviously here on Monday night. I know they played West Union last night, playing here tonight, played North Adams tomorrow, Versailles Friday. So a lot of that is probably yes and no to your question. Probably, you just got to, it's going to stretch the pitching staff a little bit. Roberts' pitch count certainly getting up there. So now you're going to go to Puckett and ask him to try to hold this right there at a 3-run advantage to give your offense one last crack at it in the 7th.
On their roster, Puckett listed as a catcher by trade, batting .667 in his appearances so far this year. Once again, has not made an appearance on the mound.
Again, 3, 4, 5 coming up. Miller, Kimmerling, and Thomas. Andrew Miller leads off. He walked back in the first inning, struck out looking in the second, and then ended up flying out to the shortstop in the 4th, so he's still looking for his first hit of the evening. Puckett's first delivery here in the bottom of the 6th inning is a strike. Goes off speed, misses down and away. Again, Tristan Puckett, you talk about the depth of this team. Just, sometimes you just got a lot of arms ahead of you. Good opportunity for him to come in and try to catch the coach's eye, and that's how you gain more and more confidence, more and more trust. Pitch misses. It's 2-1.
Young team is Lynchburg, only 2 seniors.
That pitch just misses off the outside corner, maybe a touch low. 3-1. Again, if you're Amanda, you'd love to add a run here because, again, you know the explosive ability of this Lynchburg offense. That ball chopped up over the mound. Quinn Wells goes glove side and shows off that arm strength to get the hustling Miller down the line for the first out.
As you mentioned, Wells, all Shack selection last season.
One out batter here is the center fielder, Gary Kimmerling. He flew out to the third baseman in the first inning, then struck out swinging in the second, looking in the fourth. He, too, looking for his first hit of the evening. So back, Tanner Roberts did a pretty good job against the middle of this Amanda lineup, but it was the bottom third as well as Holland. That ball's hit pretty well out to center. Niehaus going to go back on it there, and that ball's going to bounce all the way up against the wall. And that shows you a little bit of the power of that young man in this ballpark. That ball was hit a long way.
Yeah, I'd say at almost any high school field he'd play at this season, that one's probably gone. That went all the way back to the wall here at the VA.
Yeah, Trevor Niehaus drop-stepped. He went hard after it, out of his reach. I'll tell you what, he did a good job to keep that to a double. We've seen a lot of balls in this ballpark result in triples with a chance to extend it to an inside-the-park home run. So that's the hustle of Niehaus to get that ball back in. So one out. Kimmerling out at second base. Colin Thomas is your batter. Pitches misses away. Thomas 0 for 3 on the evening. Struck out looking in the first, and then a fly ball to second base and third, and then reached on the air in the fourth. Ground ball wide of third. Hey, nice play there. Coach Stone showing off the hands.
As you said, just the dimensions here lead to a lot of scoring. And if you have an opportunity, most Saturdays here we have a whole lineup of high school games of just some really talented teams. And if you ever get a chance, it's hard to miss that out here.
1-1 delivery. That ball, I was going to say down in the dirt. I should say off the turf here at the VA Memorial Stadium. And that tough ask for Eric Slack. He did a pretty good job staying in front of him, just couldn't bury it. And then good read there from Kimmerling. He's going to move up on that wild pitch, and now he's 90 feet away with just one out. Chance for the Aces to play a little add-on. The pitch, ball just off the outside corner. Runs it to 3-1.
And with the runner at third, you'd think almost any ball in the outfield with almost one out would lead to a run here for Amanda.
Called foul at the plate there, so it's going to run it full. Yeah, I'd agree with you, Ken. I mean, the speed of Kimmerling there, probably, unless it's hit hard right at an infield, he's probably going to challenge with one out. You're almost going on the contact play here, in my opinion. Swing and a miss. Great job. Tristan Puckett steps up, gets the strikeout. Chance to get out of the inning now with 2 outs.
Sort of finding his rhythm here is the sophomore.
2-out batter Noah Chambers. Kenneth, what about Noah Chambers this evening? Stands to be the winning pitcher. He's had a triple, a run scored, and a single, 2 for 3 on the evening. There's a ground ball over the first base. Fielded there by Boone. He goes to the bag himself, and that will end the threat. Unable to add on, but the Aces still lead at 5-2. Last call for the Mustangs. We'll have it for you when we come back. You're watching high school baseball here on SOSA, presented by Ohio Health.
Swing and a liner to left field. Pates will walk it off. That one base is loaded in 2. Pitch is low, and this one dripped the pitch. Skied into center field, hit pretty well. Major back to the track, to the wall. It is gone.
At Chillicothe Comfort Heating and Air, your comfort is our priority year-round.
Whether it's blazing hot or freezing cold, we've got your back with fast, reliable service you can trust.
Locally owned, honest, and done right the first time.
We have financing options available for every budget, as well as 60 months 0% interest.
Call us today and feel the difference that comfort makes.
The Aces of Amanda-Clearcreek 3 miles from the house as they lead at 5-2. Lynchburg will try to keep the undefeated season alive as the 6-0 Mustangs will send 2, 3, 4 to the plate in the form of Wells, Beachy, and Baker. So certainly a part in the order where it's very doable if you're in Lynchburg, but this becomes a big out here to start as Nick Holland, who came on in relief back in the 5th inning, through the 5th, through the 6th, now trying to close it out for his buddy Noah Chambers. He'll need 3 outs here in the 7th to do it.
And as you heard over the PA, Lynchburg needs a hero here in the 7th, but as you said, almost not a better spot in the lineup for it.
Strike catches the outside corner, evens count 1-1. Quinn Wells 1 for 3 on the evening. There's a line drive base hit into left field. As we've joked throughout the evening, that makes him 2 for 4, and that still drops the batting average of 737 on down. I'm not smart enough to do the math, but I know that 500 is less than 737. More importantly, in this moment, Wells does his job of getting things started. He's the leadoff base runner. Now Christian Beachy steps in, working on a 1 for 2 night. He's also walks, who's been on base a couple times. Wells off and running. That's a dangerous attempt. Even with his stolen bases, there's his 16th of the year. It's still kind of a dangerous play in a 3-run game. But, hey, again, that's who you are. It's what you do. Give the Mustangs credit for the aggressiveness. That does take the force play out. And now Beachy will continue down in the count to strike.
That's his 16th stolen base of the season.
Well, he has great baseball instincts. He gets a great jump, and then you throw in the speed, and that's a good combination for a base stealer. Swing and a miss on a pitch away. This would be the last batter. Let's see. Yes, the last batter that Holland had not faced yet. So Beachy is seeing Holland for the first time. And then the next on-deck hitter, Max Baker, that was the first person Holland faced. So once you turn this batter over, they'll be seeing Holland for the second time, which I think that's a big deal once you see a guy as a hitter. Climbs the ladder, gets the swing and miss, and a strikeout. Lynchburg down to their final 2 outs. Wells will remain at second base now as the 1-out base runner, and Max Baker 0 for 1. He has been on base a couple times, hit by a pitch in the first inning, walked in the 5th. Pitch catches the inside corner for a strike.
Well, and you mentioned on the batter's side, but also for a guy who's making his first appearance on the mound, just getting back through the lineup where you've seen every single batter also helps, I'd say, for his confidence.
Well, I think you're right, and you know, I've been real impressed with Bree Stone behind the plate. Good leader. You know, he becomes really familiar with the hitters throughout the evening as well, and I think he's called a really nice game back for the Aces on the backstop. Way ahead, 0-2. Gets inside. Baker tries to get the hands inside, able to fight it off and live to see another pitch. Pretty good spot there for Holland. Lynchburg in desperate need of base runners. I need 3 to get even. Wells leads from second. He's running the third. Throw down there. And I think they had a chance to get him, but the ball popped out. So Thomas unable to squeeze it. It would have been a bang-bang play. Really, if you're Holland, Kenneth, at that point, if that run's irrelevant. Up 5-2, you need 2 outs. You're focused here on the batter. That pitch misses up. It's a 2-2 count.
As you said, 1 in scoring position, but you need 3.
Yeah, you just got to really mentally approach it that way. If you're a pitcher, you really got to be able to just forget about Wells. And then there's a big pitch, swing and a miss. Back-to-back strikeouts. First Beachy, now Baker. Now Puckett, remember he had entered the game on the mound in Robert's spot. So Roberts, who was 0 for 2 with a walk on the evening, this will be Puckett's first at bat. If Puckett could reach, Trevor Niehaus would get another crack at it. He would represent the tying run if we get that far. Swing and a miss evens the count 1-1. Ace is pretty much straight away all around the diamond. There's another swing and a miss. Now down to the last strike.
And as I think you mentioned, just sitting on that 3-run lead helps the confidence of this pitcher so much.
No question. The pitch. Called strike 3, and that'll do it. What a big-time win for the Aces. They come to the VA Memorial Stadium. They hand Lynchburg the first loss of the year as Lynchburg will drop to 6-1. The Aces will even their mark at 3-3. Well-pitched game. They scored early, got out in front, and was able to hold on. Congratulations, Coach Stone. Stay with us. Kenneth Hay, Shane Holmes. We'll be back with some totals and wrap this one up for you. You're watching high school baseball here on SOSA, presented by Ohio Health.
Richard. Countless nights in the garage. 8 shiny new Pistons. 1 very happy 16-year-old granddaughter. And 2 years since starting cancer treatment at Ohio Health.
Welcome back to VA Memorial Stadium. It's a winning night for the Aces of Amanda-Clearcreek as they defeat Lynchburg-Clay 5-2. Just to tell you a little bit about it, it was Amanda got things started in the first inning, but before you even get to the offensive part, I think you got to mention that Lynchburg had bases loaded, 1 out there in the first inning, and then back-to-back strikeouts as Noah Chambers was able to pitch out of the jam. His offense immediately responded. The Aces loaded the bases as well. It looked like Tanner Roberts was going to get out of it, but an error ended up scoring the first run and extending the inning. And then the big swing there comes back-to-back Cole Schiff with a 2-run single and then an RBI single for Jack Thompson. I thought that 7-8 spot, Kenneth, was really, really big tonight for the Aces. Stayed that way for a little while. They were able to add a run in the third inning when Noah Chambers tripled to right field with 1 out, and then Cole Schiff was at it again. 3 RBI night for Cole. He had a line out to center field that served as the sacrifice fly, scoring Chambers. Lynchburg added a single run in the fourth, a single run in the fifth, but they couldn't get any closer. I thought a big play here in my book was the 6-4-3 double play that ended a huge scoring threat in the fifth inning, and then that was probably the last serious opportunity for Lynchburg to get even. Amanda wins it 5-2. Kenneth, your thoughts?
Yeah, I just really go back to those first 2 innings. When you leave in the first 2, 3 runners on in scoring position, and those first 2 combined, it's just really tough, especially when you're only losing by 3.
Yeah, no question. You look up and down, you talk about team wins all the time, and I thought there was just a lot of things that worked in the favor. Nick Holland comes in, a double, a run scored. He pitches the final 3 innings to close the door for his buddy Noah Chambers. Chambers, your winning pitcher, but at the plate, also 2 for 3, scored 2 times. Cole Schiff, as I said, a 3 RBI night. I thought Jack Thompson was terrific, 3 for 3, had an RBI single. Just a lot of different things, and good defense throughout the evening, too, as I know right off the top of my head there was two double plays that killed some rallies there, turned by the Amanda defense. This gives you a lot of confidence if you're Amanda moving forward, don't you think?
Yeah, especially with how they played tonight. I think we mentioned it multiple times, especially during that 5-run scurry. They had the 4 in the first inning. It's like they just did all the little things, and it may not be the prettiest, but they stayed alive. I think about the hit by Noah Chambers up the middle. That was an error, but just getting it in play when you have the athleticism of the guys you have, it just gives you guys a chance.
Yeah, no question about it. Over on the Lynchburg-Clay side, I thought Tanner Roberts, after that first inning, he really battled. He kind of kept his team in it and able to eat some innings. And Puckett comes in, does a nice job. If you look up and down the lineup, I think a couple of names of note. Quinn Wells continues his outstanding start to 2026. He was 2 for 4 with 3 more stolen bases. Unofficially, I think that makes 17 now on the
Down
year.
night for him.
That's insane. And then you look down through, they had some base runners throughout. They left quite a few on base. Aiden Benee had the triple in the 4th inning. He would later score on the RBI for Caden Boone. I thought he had a nice night. He was 2 for 3. So again, you regroup. If you're Lynchburg-Clay, you're right back at it with North Adams tomorrow night. You're now 6-1, but you're still 3-0 in the league, and that'll be a big game before they really test themselves in the non-league against Versailles. As for Amanda, they have a Hamilton Township Friday night, but this evens their record at 3-3 with 2 wins here at the VA against really good baseball teams and Athens and Lynchburg-Clay. So, Kenneth, a lot of fun to be with you. I know Carson, I'll be back at it on Saturday. Chillicothe, Western Brown here at the VA, and then we're hoping to get a steady schedule going where we get you a couple games out here at the VA throughout our spring coverage. And then obviously once we get in the tournament, SOSA is your total home for all kinds of tournament baseball. So excited to do it. So any final thoughts on these 2 teams moving forward, or just the ability to call some baseball here this evening?
I mean, it's always good to be back out here at the stadium. I've been, at college, I haven't been able to call these games, but finally getting back, it's always fun to do. And for both these teams, Lynchburg, I think you kind of just got to ride the ship, because I think you guys know the team you are, and you don't want to let this one loss really get to you, especially when you're on this 5 games in 5 days streak. And then for Amanda, I think it's a really bit of a confidence boost. You're coming in at 2-3. It's really harder and harder to get back on track when you stack up those losses, and for them to come back and get this big win over a really, really good Lynchburg-Clay team, I think that's big for them going forward.
Yeah, well said. Well, Kenneth, I really enjoyed it. Can't wait to do some more this year. Want to give a shout-out to John Bruce next door on the PA and our camera, the multitasker, one John Bruce. For Kenneth, hey, this is Shane Combs. Final score for the final time, Amanda 5, Lynchburg-Clay 2. So long, everyone.
Immediately hear Adrian.